We are at the academy in Lijiang City where the awakening ceremony and taking place to see who's gonna be a talented prodigy and who's going to be a worthless turbo loser. A red-pill, bald-bearded professor is giving everyone a warning about the dangers of chasing 3 waifus and also telling them that the first awakening is something that decides the future of a person. The higher your rank, the better your life is going to be. In that crowd, everyone has different aspirations. The bald guy wants to become a berserker and use his talent to fight creatures, and the guy with the glasses wants a stealth class so he can become a creepy and match his looks. In this place, a virtual reality game, Meme Eternal, got merged with the real world. In that game, people could kill their bosses in real life, so everyone loved it since the euphoria from killing other people was really cute and fun. Everything inside the game, of course. With that, more and more people got into the game, and one day, the tower appears and the monsters started to roam in the city. But strangely enough, the surface of the world expanded by thousands of times and a large number of secret realms appeared with countless monsters and new races. Every guy was happy because now instead of choosing between ass or boobs, they can choose between elf and succubus. While also everyone now could level up and change their classes to increase their power so they could fight against those monsters. And that's our loser protagonist with sharp eyes and crossed necklace to make him stand out 1% more. His name's Ji, and he is Chinese. Of course, with this sad boy look, you know that he's an orphan with a hot cute sister that is in the hospital with a disease that no one really knows how to cure, is untreatable by normal doctors, and he could barely maintain her alive with the help of a low-level priestess. He had to sell everything from simple things like his house to crazy ones like his Valorant skins just to keep her alive. Sad part is that right now that doesn't mean anything since there's no way to cure his sister. He's just waiting for her death. The medical fees are getting higher and higher since she needs a priest to be alive. He bets everything in this awakening ceremony with a strong combat class. He can finally buy back his Valorant account. This sus mage professor tells to all of the students that got their name shouted, go in the circle, so they can awaken their class. Everyone is impressed that the mage is level 24. Even our edgy loser thinks that is strong, but the most impressive part is the income of someone of that level, which is at least 6 figures. Now he just needs to be 6 foot tall and have a 6 inches noodle, and with that, he would have the 666. Then the teacher starts to call the names while our boy is thinking. It's starting, and there's 1,000 of classes that can be awakened. But in this world, with so many monsters, the combat classes are the most respected ones. The first guy that goes gets 3 classes to choose from: pharmacist, enchanter, and the composer. But with not even a single combat class, we know of his destiny already. The professor says that at least half of them will get a combat class, so it's not that hard to get. After that, the professor keeps calling the numbers until it is time for our Master Yi to go. Everyone is cheering for him. It seems that he's really good at school, but unfortunately, that it's not always a decisive factor for your class awakening. The professor says that he does have good results and his status are pretty good too. Maybe if he got lucky, he can awaken a nice class. Up to this point, 16 people got a combat class and the 2 teachers are competing with each other to see who's going to get more combat class students. Everyone looks at his awakening with anticipation while our boy is just standing there and his cross necklace starts to shine. A flame-like aura gets out of it. And that's when the system appears, energy detected, activating the strongest class support system as plus. Talent protection of the sacred angel, would you like to accept it? The edgy lord thinks that he's getting crazy. But when he looks again, he sees that it's an actual system with a game-like interface. He bought his necklace in his last life, and yes, he's a transmigrator loser. What an accomplishment. At that time, thought that could be a treasure, but after some testing and nothing appearing, he gave up, but now he activated this system and even gave him a big gift. The system shows protection of the sacred angels plus affinity with light types greatly increased. All light type and divinity type skills will have an amplified effect. At that moment, everyone was staring at him asking why he's not moving and why he's looking in the air like a mentally challenged idiot. But that's when explosion happens. The red-pilled professor and the sus mage were in disbelief from the sky. A heavenly creature, juicy blonde angel with silk clothing, started to descend. His necklace was shining as she was getting closer with some big beautiful toes and 6 wings. She tells him, light is your belief and the source of your power under the belief of the sacred. The light will always protect you and burn away all evil. Then she vanishes and goes into his forehead leaving a message, I will always protect you by your side. Our protagonist just go away few inside him when suddenly other 3 figures appears in the sky where everyone there is in disbelief cause it seems that those 3 are hidden classes. The Mage of Light, Sacred Priest, and Saint Knight. The juicy big albino bimbo melon girl is the Mage of Light that I would choose without a single ounce of hesitation. She has a DPS, but has no defense, and with so many monsters around, he would need someone to defend him, and that would be too risky. The priest, of course, has a ton of healing life-saving skills and even the resurrection, but, of course, it's not really that good to kill monsters. The Saint Knight, on the other hand, can do everything half-ass, but at least he can be independent as a feminist woman in this day and age. But for edgy, lonely boy, that's the one that suits him most. So he chooses that one in the system, and damn, that knight is big as hell. The knight swing his hammer 3 times saying one word, which each swing honesty, bravery, empathy, and he finishes with responsibility to commit acts of glory. Boom. He hits the floor and says that those should be the acts of a Saint Knight. It vanishes and the energy goes for Master Yi while his back shines, and congratulations on awakening the Saint Knight class. Okay. Look at him having all the swag. Maybe he could have gotten the priest skill and heal his sister, but this one makes him look much cooler than a fragile creepy priest. He receives 3 skills, Blade of Pure White, Slow Regeneration, Weapon Blessing, and 10 extra points. Everyone now wants suck his clique, to be his friend. They are all shouting, asking to form a party for the next exam. An albino teach shows up saying, Jesus, stop gathering here. Move away. Master, you good job, bro. You should go home and get some rest. Come to the headmaster off tomorrow. Back to his room, he sees that he has 20 strength, 18 constitution, 17 agility, and 15 intelligence, and also still has some points to assign. He just puts a little bit on everything to get stronger overall, and the system gives him a gift for using points for the first time while also activates a mission. It's a daily mission where he can get 3 rewards, 10 extra points, a Saint Knight skill, or a random Saint Knight equipment. If that's the prize, he must take it. So the sky flashes and is going to be transported to a different place. The system tells him to take the trial seriously cause dying, and this trial results in dying in real life. Damn. What the hell? This is the daily mission in my time. They used to do 100 push-ups, run 10 kilometers, and call it a day. But he is sent to a mine butt, and there's already someone into his back he looks to see, and the creature with huge claw is coming to kill him, but he skillfully evades, thinking it's my first time facing a monster. I will try to kill you without using any skills, cause him super cool. The monster comes to another one, but he dodges another one, and he evades. He keeps sidestepping all attacks caused with his status. This is too easy. This monster is too slow, and you can see all the movements. Jesus, he was overconfident and has a new hole in his chest, and only took 10 seconds to this turbo loser get his confidence shaken. He's in the floor. Okay. The monster is coming to the second one, but he uses the slow regeneration into his belly that within 13 seconds recovers an amount of health points. He does a cross sign with his arms and throws the Blade of Pure White, creating a combo with his skill Tiger Pounce, grabs one enemy in front of you and run forward, and with that, he slams the monster into the wall and shouts, "Let's go, baby." That's what I'm talking about. Maybe he's a Charlie fan. Then punches the monster with so much power that it pierces its chest. You kill the unsigned trial monster. Please choose 1 rewards. He knows that he will get a lot of status as the time goes on, but right now, he needs something to help in the fight. So he chooses the weapon and receives a basic one-hand sword. Now the trial is done and appears back in his room. His cell phone rings and it's time to go to the hospital. In the news, everyone is talking about him. The only guy who received a hidden class in the last 50 years in that room was his sister. Watching, but suddenly, the nurse gets into the room and shouts at the poor girl, "Time for your medical fees, 10,000 right now or get out." Pretty much the average health care in United States. The sister is in shock, asking why it's so expensive. Wasn't 5,000 before? Are there any mistakes? She knows that her big loser brother can only receive 5,000 by working 3 jobs. She don't think he can pay all of this average American health care, whereas the good old communism. But the nurse tells her that she used a lot of expensive medicine this month, and they even had to call priest there. So if she doesn't pay, she can check out. The sister was lost, asking, "What do you mean by check out, you?" That's when a guy enters the room and grabs the nurse's shoulder saying, "Miss Nurse, it seems that I heard you insulting the patient with how sharp your mouth is. I wonder if you can explain all of that in the director's officer." The nurse goes off talking, saying to the sister, "Ju Young, you must pay your medical fees today." Then the sister asked, Are you guys here to ask for the payment?" The guy are all friendly cause, probably they already know that she's the sister of the edgy saint. The guy told her, "You must be Miss Joan. I'm a big friend of your brother." But that's when our boy gets into the room saying, "I just went to pay the bills. And they asked me to pay 10,000. Do you know what's going on?" Then he notices the other guys there and asks, "Who are you guys?" The guy introduces itself. "Hi. My name is Zhao Wenbing, and I'm the mayor's secretary. Also, I would like to discuss some things with you." Our boy is suspecting with why is someone like him looking for him. Because that guy is the most powerful man in Jinai City. He just shakes the guy's hand and the mayor tells him that this patient room is unsuitable for conversation. Let's go somewhere else, and tells his security to keep a look on his sister. In cafe nearby, a group of friends is talking about someone that got a hidden class and it's all over the news. The name is Zuyi. Here's the photo of him. The girl says he looks pretty handsome and that she would accept some heavenly seeds from him. But I arrived besides them talking with the mayor who already knew, of course, of his situation and tells to our boy, congratulations on receiving the talent protection of the sacred angel and is interested in our boy. Then he gave him some cultivation resources for him to prepare for the exam. The guy keeps giving him things from today onward. There will be a professional medical team to serve your sister 24 hours even. Our boy thinks that this trucker knows everything he needs, so he can't refuse such a good offer. Them tells him that he accepts. Back into the room, his sister it's all happy knowing his class cause that means that he's going to rise it to the top. He tells her to stop talking nonsense cause she needs to focus on recovery, but she curious with his new exclusive rank skills. He remembers that he got an attack skill, healing 1 and a blessing, and now it's the perfect moment to try to heal her. The name is Slow Recovery, but maybe he can do something good. When he uses golden glow appears around her and she says that it's so comfortable, warm, cozy. The same sensation as being into a hot spring receiving a full body massage. Little mind-broken sister is already drooling. He asked if she's feeling better and she tells him that it's amazing how it overflowed her. It's not hurting anymore. Even her hands are getting warmer. Seeing his sister so fulfilled, our boy smiles. Next day, the bald red pill is talking with him, explaining that a bunch of universities want to have our boy, even some teachers from the top 10 are fighting to get him, and he needs to make a good decision so he can receive the best training in the future. Our boys asks which universities are those. Headmaster just says that is a bunch of universities, but our boy knows that none of them are from the top 3. Red Pilled explains that the top 3 universities only recruit based on results and they don't care about talents and ranks. He would need to prove himself. Inside the room, a discussion is happening when they go in. Everyone is staring at them. Each one of them is from some different university, and, of course, all of them want our halfling filler boy. Our boy says nice to meet you all, and everyone is thinking that he's a good, humble, and steady. Hot Wheels Track says that he's going to cut to the chase. I'm going to explain wrong. Hun's university offer that is 2 million in Saint Knight class exclusive skill book. Our poor trash has impressed people in this world, makes 6,000 a month, and is getting 2 million like that. But the dollar store Ishigo Kurosaki says that the wrong university is stingy as ever cause the Zoshu University is offering him 3 million, 3 skills, and even instructor level 56. Even Red Pill is impressed cause level 56 is near the top of the planet, but that's when a succulent milk carrier comes with the best offer. She tells that he's only going to get 2 million, though will receive a B-class cultivation resource. Red Pilled is staring at him begging for him to accept that proposal. This resource is not even possible to buy with infinite money. It's so good that even a piggy can become a monster. The Siri Babame asks which one is going to choose. But our Sigma says, I'm sorry, but I have to decline all of you trash because I'm not interested in special admissions. She asks why, and of course, he explains that he wants to enter the top 3 universities, the places where only 1,000 people per year go, and even some other races are competing for the spots. Everyone in the room is laughing at him. Hot Wheels Track says that he thought that his were a good kid, but is just an ignorant brat. Then he releases his aura telling his that he saw his life history. He knows that he don't have enough resources to go to those places, is weak, and also from a low-status family. Feeling the aura, he knows that if it was yesterday, he would drop to the floor right now. The guy keeps telling him even. Red Pill gets in front of him asking, what is the meaning of this misery? You want to bully my student? But the delightful waifu is impressed that our boy is still standing there. That guy's leave saying, those places are not only seeking for strength, they want someone with the right attitude. And if it's you, you're not going to be recruited. I will leave you first. See you next time. The girl tells him that he do have courage, but Hot Wheels' words are true. There are countless in our country, and the other races are even stronger than humans for you to enter the top 3. It's as hard as climbing the heavens, but our little bro is confident. He tells her that he's going to prove his strength, and she will see the results of his exams. He knows that he has only 1 month to prepare. He needs to grow at maximum speed, but is sure that is doable because he has the system. Red Voluptuous Juicy is impressed with his resolution and strong mind. She feels that his eyes are ready for the battlefield and maybe even the bedfield, so she leaves saying that she's looking forward for the results of him. We skip 1 month to 1 month later with no Rock Lee training at this time. The exam will begin soon, and everyone is nervous. And the examiner says at this time, it is the Demon Young, and all the students knew that they were doomed. Also, they all knew that our boy refused to enter any university. Course, they think that is dumb trash loser with a massive ego. But that's when he shows up, and our boy is exuding a golden aura while everyone thinks that is different than before. He feels powerful. Alone in front of the gate that shows a message secret realm deep inside the dark forest level 10 to 13 difficult, easy hard, and nightmare number of people 1 to 5. Be careful with a Minotaurus. The side of trash characters are all thinking that this is too much the cause. Dark forest monsters are the hardest to deal with. But from behind someone, he says, remember, if your life is in danger, use your return scroll. Immediately cause die in the map means you die in the real life. It's better to fail the exam than losing your life. Time's up, and everyone vanishes. We have some warriors, some assassins, some elemental mage, and even some gunsmen. But, of course, everyone wants to watch the edgy Saint Knight. Everyone from the elite classes when alone in the dungeon, because this is the best way so you can get all the experience possible. And our protagonist is in the highest level than Nightmare while also being solo, which everyone considers a crazy thing to do. The director of education asked to Bald why he let the edgy boy going solo. That's just crazy. He has buffs and healings. He should have a party with him, and even worse, went into Nightmare. That means he has a 40% chance of dying. You know that the city has given him a lot of resources just so he can get a good result, but is risking everything. Red Pill tells him brother relax, he ain't beta, he ain't alpha, he even ain't sigma, his ligma balls, and just watch. Our boy is running when he sees something and pulls his weapon out of the system. It's same monster that he killed in his daily training, and that's good for him. He now has a single-bladed axe bronze 2 stars. It's one swing in the middle of the beast, and it's over. Look at his edgy face with all those status, but why his intelligence is so high. Maybe he's playing some forward chess, and we will eventually discover. He's level 13, and he feels like he can make to the top rankings and go to any university that he wants. The monsters are not attacking, so he shouts, if you're not coming to me, I'm going to get you bits. Using his weapon blessing level 4 after so many dark edgy protagonists who can see someone shining with the glory of the heavens, and it feels refreshing. Because he is a Saint Knight and is using a holy weapon, he gains an extra 21 something that would make anyone jealous even though in this place, you only can use a bronze weapons with so much extra status into his weapon, his strength, it's way above bronze. Bro, it's a menace. He grabs the monster hand and sends it fly, another one died. Outside, everyone is sure that he put all his points into his strength. But the old guy tell that this is not possible. He's way faster than the cat's monsters. That means that he has a lot speed and even killed some monster with magic skills. That means that his intelligence is also not low. But the guy wearing a suit thinks he's mentally challenged to dumb trash cause. He can have a high combat status, but his methods are unwise since he wasted all his power and energy on the first wave of monsters, but on Nightmare, there's many more monsters waves. Even excellent mags fail because of magical energy consumption, and his weapon weight is a burden swinging something so heavy, he's bound to get tired. His fate is already sealed. He's going to die for those monsters. Jim Bra's cats are coming for him, and everyone wants to know what he's going to do this time. But he just swings his axe and makes use his skill with his hands throwing energy blast, then sends his axe flying like a boomerang. And after it kills a bunch of monsters, it goes back to his hand, and he finishes another one. In a few seconds, all the cats are dead, and a portal appears, so he goes to the next level. Another legion of trembling cats are waiting for him outside, someone doing a live stream saying, it's your favorite host, KK. Just another K and things would have gotten historically wild. He is streaming our boy performance for everyone because he's on a track for setting a record with only 3 minutes and 17 seconds, but everyone wants to know how high is his constitution cause he should be tired already. But he's just swinging his big axe without any once of fatigue. The girl with the head hair says that the master is smiling too much. Maybe he's enjoying our heavenly boy performance, but he says that's nonsense and she should just watch. But he's thinking to himself, damn, is my smile so big and obvious? Back to our boy testosterone cats are just waiting, but behind all of them, there's a Minotaur level 14 in the cats. This time have elemental attributes. He thinks that's crazy. The chance of him dying now increased it by 100-fold. The Minotaur screams and all the juices ran to kill our boy, but there's even some magic cats that used some spell and locked him in place. He's impressed with the teamwork from the monsters, major behind, healers giving buffs and warriors in the front line. But he takes his necklace, put his hands around it, makes a jutsu sign to use the cross of the sacred light. Now let's explain why his intelligence is the higher status. All the poor cats are dead cause no low-level creature can survive to his heavenly spells. Everyone thought that the Saint Knight was support class. So how can he be so strong alone, and even worse, why he have great B skills since they could only afford to give him some great C skills? He's standing there face to face with the Minotaur and just points to the monster saying, you're the only one. Come on. The Minotaur uses the skills Bursa and superior body, while also activates the stomp to break the floor and to take advantage of the lack of balance. The Minotaur rushes. And in the air, our boy should be ducked, but he uses the air's lash and sends another cross like your average Christian. There goes another blade of light, another cross, and is rushing this time because he knows that the Minotaur has a thick skin, so he needs a critical blow. And Jesus, he slashes right through it like butter. Brother poor Minotaur is looking at him, asking himself how he got defeated, so easy. Edgy boy just see that is alive, so he stomps on the head. My man is cold, and now he knows that the next stage should be the boss room. The guy with the suit is getting impressed. He finds hard to believe that this boy started to train only 1 month ago and even congratulate Red Pilled for creating such a good boy. While Bald is thinking that the best result that this whole school got in all those years is July 2021, maybe our boy can reach a whole new height. Someone points and asks why he didn't rest before entering the boss room. Sup guy with a bipolar disorder is angry again now, saying that he knew that he was dumb F. Now he lost all his advantages because he should have recovered before. But the reason for that is because he's going for the record, and if he wants to be in the top 100, he needs to finish this in the shortest time. Sitting in the throne, the boss says, "Human, how you dare to step into my place?" It's a level 16 Minotaur king because the level difference is too large. He cannot see anything else. The Minotaur instantly attacks him, saying that he must be prepared for death, but he uses the blessing of courage and the gift of God, also the gift of protection. Bro is Overload 2.0 getting ready for a fight. Now with the pay to win, he says, "Little cow, I'm over here," all buffs activated. Saint Knight's initial form is up. They go towards each other, and the Minotaur is way bigger than him. He slashed and handed the Minotaur, but unfortunately, even with 4 buffs, he cannot pierce the flesh, and now his purple meatball time to attack, and its hammer, is already over him. He sidesteps in the right moment, but the second one, he couldn't dodge, and that hit was critical, sending our poor boy 5 pillar to the other side of room. Thanks to this armor, his bones are intact, otherwise, he would be dead. But luckily now, after this exchanging of blows, he knows what he needs to do and pulls out the Spear of Victory level 3 grade C, throws a spear made of condensed divine light, and the enemy who has been hit will receive high damage. Okay. It's going to be that classic Fate Stay Night power, all the spears surround him and going in the direction of the Minotaur, but the Minotaur is defending. He knows that the best strategy would be to try to slowly down and kill this Minotaur bit by bit. But with that, would be impossible for him to get the first place, and he believes that the teachers wouldn't create a challenge that is impossible, so it must have some ways to get out of this. Trading some blows, he noticed that the Minotaur is not really that fast. Maybe if he attacks from all angles all the time, he eventually will find a gap. But the system warns him, "You are low on mana, please replenish," but that was when he got the first hit on the Minotaur, and he learned that the Minotaur has another weakness. His resistance is low, cause even if he has a thick skin when pierced his health is low. It's like a big skeleton with a thick armor, and when it gets hit, it's hard for him to regenerate. He used to go all out all the time. If he runs out of mana before killing this guy, he's out. He didn't want to take a gamble, but there's no more chances, cause there's no more time. He pulls out the golden sacred sword out of the system, and with a mighty divine slash, he cuts right through the Minotaur and finally killed the boss. Congratulations on completing the nightmare difficulty. Time, 90 minutes and 24 seconds. The exam is finished. You made an SS clearance and it's first place. Our boy was happy, thinking, now I can go to any university that I want. I finally did it. In the year that he transmigrated to this world, his mother passed away, his sister was sick, and he had a lot of debt. All of that was pressing really hard against his back every single night, and he felt as if he was going to explode. But even under such harsh conditions, he chose to not give up, always thinking, if he can't increase his status, he will practice his combat skills and cultivate his fighting spirit. The thought giving up never crossed his mind, and the system's appearance gave him a second chance in life, and now his fate is within his hands. He needs to work harder and grind harder than anyone else. And at that moment, his heart was the same as always, unshakable. He receives 5,000 XP and 23 points. Also, goes up to level 13 and even gets some items like a forest belt and a forest ring and even a Minotaur King's cards. I love cards. That reminds me of Ragnarok Online and Hunter x Hunter. When he arrives in the middle of the arena, everyone is shouting his name, Master Yi, you are my god. Fill me up with all your healing. Hearing such offers, he got shy. He asked himself what is going on. That's when Bald shows up. He went solo and finished in under 10 minutes. You are an honor for this academy. From my years of experience, I know you have the highest potential of this district and your future is bright, boy. But our boy is humble and just says that they are overpraising him. He's not that much. When suddenly a car pulls up, come on, the results will be up in 3 days and you need to rest first. After that, the mayor fulfilled his promises to our boy, his sister, about a professional medical team 24/7. When he arrived there, he told the nurse that he's here to give his sister some good news, and even the nurse knows that it's because he placed first on the exam. But when they are in the elevator, it starts to get too cold inside. When the door opens, everyone is frozen. He knows there is a problem with his sister, so he runs and the nurse tries to follow him. But she's got frozen in place. When he arrives, he sees a dragon and a healer with her. He pulls out the holy energy. The healer tells him to not attack, but her arms are already becoming a popsicle. He stops his attack and asks why he can't attack. She explains to him that her heart is at risk. If he attacks, he can kill her. Then he asks why there is a dragon here. She tells him that it was sudden, but the cold inside her body exploded and everyone got frozen. The best that she can do right now is suppress the cold, but he should hurry up and leave. But our hero wants to know what's going to happen with his sister. She says that she doesn't know. She can only do this much right now. They need a high-level priest. Our boy says that he understands and opens the system, using all his points to upgrade his low recovery, and the skill goes from level 4 recovery to level 10 regeneration. With that, he uses it on his sister. The priest is impressed because his skill is more powerful than hers, and she's a level 23 priest. He keeps healing the girl and asks the priest to go down and inform the secretary, "We need a high-level priest quickly." The girl warns him it's hard to get a high-level priest because they have a lot of things to do. Even if we call the one that we know, she won't make it in time. He says, "Doesn't matter who you call. Tell that person that the top 1 ranking in this exam promises to do one thing for him unconditionally in the future." She agrees and goes while our boy thinks that this burst of cold is something that she has been experiencing for the past year, and that's why she always suffer intense pain across her body. He knew that it was getting worse recently, but he didn't imagine that it could affect the outside world. Some time pass and it's afternoon already while our edgy boy is trying hard to hold on, but things aren't going that well. That's when a green ball hits the dragon and bounces through the room. He looks back and shouts, "No toucher." But he also gets hit and is sent flying. That's when we see a big-breasted baseball healer, and that's a new search tag for me. She looks at the dragon and says, "Come." The dragon attacks her, but she just hits it on the head. Then she uses a bind healing spell on the dragon, activates a power within her eyes, and hits the dragon once more. With that, she sends the dragon inside the sister again, then hits the floor with her bat sending a healing shockwave, and everything starts to unfreeze. She says, "You must be Zuyi. I heard about you." Her name is Chuling Ma, a level 35 secondary awakened priest. He says that it's nice to meet her, and she tells him that she came over because of the director, but she's thinking that it's impressive that the guy didn't freeze for this long time. He goes to her and asks, "Mr. Chubi, you know what disease my sister got, and is it curable?" She tells him that the leaking of cold energy and the refinement into a form is a sign of bloodline awakening. Zhao Yi is shocked because when the game first appeared, a lot of players chose the characters to be other races as elves, giants, and demons. When the game merged with reality, those players received the traits of those bloodlines. For the past 200 years, players married humans, the blood got diluted over the generations. They gradually lost their powers except for a special condition, bloodline awakening. The healer explains that this bloodline awakening can bring both fortune and misfortune, and a successful awakening means that one can control the power of other races and the learning level will be multiplied. But if they fail, they will either be paralyzed or die on the spot, but his sister suffer from the cold because her body cannot handle the power of the bloodline. If her guess is correct, she awakened a rare freezing bloodline. Damn. We have Sherlock Holmes, guys. But she needs to change her constitution if she wants to carry this rare bloodline, and as far as she knows, the treasure called Freezing Lotus can change her constitution, but it's very rare. The last time that she saw one was 30 years ago, and someone anonymous bought it for 13,000 million. And she warns him, "Your sister will not be able to suppress this cold for more than 3 months, and after that, she will explode." But one simpler option is to just seal her bloodline, but that means a curse cause she will not have any extra powers. 5 days later, and our boy's on the juice training to be the next Chris Bumstead doing some squats, push-ups, and sit-ups. Right now, he's choosing the stats points reward, and every day, he's leveling up everything equally to reduce his flaws. He has a notification giving the exam results. It's announced. Congratulations for receiving the first place. Rewards are going to be according to your results, and he got bunch of skills. God Hands, Great Divine Ting, Resurrection Cross, 1 Mystery Skill, Exorcism, Punishment of Light, and 33 stats. In the news, everyone is talking about our boy. The guy was only a level 10 when he entered the realm and even got first place. He's the headline everywhere. The guy from his school's always smug. Yeah, I knew he would be successful when I saw him. That's why I advise everyone to invest in him as much as possible because I have a good eye. But, of course, there are some people that don't believe in him. A Saint Knight, which is a support class, finishing a nightmare alone, I think is cheating. But the girl says that she has the recordings. It's really powerful, and his holy cross is more powerful than a high-tier flaming magic from a main mage, while also he has a bunch of buffs. Someone is watching on a big screen and is impressed with the fact that it only took him 9 minutes, and that's 20 seconds faster than him. He says that is interesting because he dares to take his honor. That means that he's looking for death. Our boy was just chilling and walking in the city when he got a notification on his cell phone. He just received the 5 million, and the secretary, Xiao Wenbing, explained that he will also get a luxurious place to live. He knows that everyone's acting like that because he got the first place bunch of gold diggers. He tells the guy, choose the house for me, and the guy on the phone tells him that the people from the top 3 universities are on the way for him. But, actually, they are already there. Someone goes to him and say, hello, Mr. Zhao. I'm from Ioyang University, and I'm here to recruit you. But a helicopter appeared and the guy shouted, yo, you told him that he was dumb, so why are you here today? The guy trembling says, Mr. Zhao, if you are willing to go to our school, we will pay you 4 million. But the other one jumps from the helicopter and tells him that whatever IO University offers, they will give him the double. Moto University will have Zuyi. But that's when a pink-haired fisheye bimbo appeared saying that she's going to be taking him, then she just grabs him and goes flying. Whispering some juicy offers with her warm breath in his ears cause this girl knows how to negotiate. She says, Mr. Zhu, Qingjing University has nothing but cultivation resources. For the 4 years that you are going to be staying there, you are going to receive a great cultivation resource every year. But someone blocks her flight, and it's a dark masochist, gothic thick, and now the competition is getting fierce. The goth girl tells him that whatever they offer to him, the Qingjing University will give him more. The guy from the helicopter increases his bet if he goes to Modu University. They will give him a full set of golden grade equipment. They fly down back to the floor, and the pink-haired girl says that she's not kidnapping him. She just wants to have an intimate conversation with our boy so he can warm her body with his cozy healing skills. But Sato babe ain't letting this heavenly boy slide off on from the Sukang University, and I'm the recruitment teacher, Sumaya. She tells him that the Sukang University got the first place in the last 4 years, so it is the best place if he wants to get stronger. They could even get him some great resources. It's funny because our boy hasn't said anything yet. He's thinking that all those 3 universities' conditions are pretty similar. All of them will grant him a good future. And if he wants to get you stronger in university, he needs the one that suits him the most, so he chooses the thick Sato Goth Girl University. The girl pulls out a big 10,000 word contract for him. Take a look and sign it if there's no problem. The other recruiters are pissed because Goth Girl always gets the good ones. Our boy is impressed with the fact that she can use skills without a staff, and that means that she's a high-tier mage. He asks her, what is your level, Mr. Su? She says that she's level 42, and it's a second awakening mage. But the world out there is really big, so when he enters the university, he will see more younger and powerful people than her. He thinks that this is great because after he received the system, there's nobody that can rival him in his age. And once he enters Shuqing, he will face a lot of stronger people, and that means that he will get stronger faster. She says that she can see his desire for fighting. What an interesting boy, she thinks about loser time teacher asking for some healing. After signing, the contract is fulfilled, and she says that she's going to give him 1 week to pack his luggage and take him there. He asks her if the semester is going to start already. She explains that this is so they can get the best result possible in the National Freshman Exchange Contest. Then we see our boy and his sister getting to their new house, and she is in a wheelchair. This mansion is the one that the government gifted to you. There's 3 floors in total, and the second floor has a specialized training room for you, and also the area has a 3,000 square meter. I won't disturb you anymore, so please take a rest with your sister. Our boy tells the secretary to wait and says, I have something that I would like to request from you. My sister is not fully healed, her body is still weak even though Sister King will stay by her side. I hope you can look for her in my stead for some time. The guy says that it would be his honor to do that, and the teacher from Su University came to take him. He tells his sister, remember to call me if there's any problem, you need to do everything that a priest tells you, and also Sister King will check your body every day and secretary will arrange it for you to go to school. She's bored of all those orders, blah blah blah. He pinches her cheek saying, I heard you. Now he's in the car and the teacher asks him, is this your first time traveling long distance? He says that it is, so she tells him to get prepared. They've been flying to a teleport. 1 second later, they were already in the university. He asked her, we are not short on time. Was it really necessary to use teleportation magic? Because he knows that those university places are usually under military control and you need to send a request so you could teleport there, but there they are. The teacher explains that the university is working with the military, so they built a large-scale teleportation array near the school, which is safe and convenient. Now we are already here. He looks to the place and says that it's insane how big it is. The teacher just tells him, let's go because you need to check in. Something passed by his side and it was a guy that was being thrown. We see a new albino babe with purple eyes and grape-sized juices. That's what I like to see. Variety. She shouts, I said I don't want to talk to you. And this is a warning for everyone. Don't disturb me again. I won't go easy on you. Everyone looked at the guy. Our boy knows that the girl had a demonic bloodline because of the magic patterns. The teacher says that plenty of students and teachers in this university have different bloodlines, so he shouldn't be surprised when he sees them in the future. He responds, don't worry. Even if there are other races, as long as they are on the side of humanity, I won't be hostile towards them because I wouldn't hate the whole demon race just because of my father's death. Okay. New information. The teacher tells him, good. Here's your student ID. He sees that it even has a ranking score, and the teacher then explains to him the school structure. The first is the ranking. Every year has its own rank, and, of course, the stronger you are, the higher you are in the rank. For the freshman, the ranks are based on the exam. He is number 1, and, of course, the strongest in the freshmen, but the rank is temporary because every month, they will have a competition, and the ranks will be rearranged according to the results. So from today onwards, he's the target of everyone. All the freshmen are going for him and in his position. He says that is already the first place, so he doesn't plan to give this position for anyone. Next is the score system. She tells him that the freshmen receive score based on their ranking, and you can use those points to buy meal equipment, potions, skill books, and everything. Also, if he gets enough score, he can get anything, even S-rank skills and resources. Other than ranking, there are 2 ways to receive scores. The first one, you go to the board of missions and grab some quests, and the harder the quests, the more points he can get. The second place to get points is the heaven and earth ranking everyone. There also receives points based on the ranking. But there's 5,000 students in this university, so we need to get stronger and get on that. He nods his head and says he understood. And other than that, this university has 3 realms and can go to the training room to practice to increase your level. This training room remembers me from Hunter x Hunter. Hisoka was gone. I love that fight. There he can fight robots or people. And that's how this university works. The more points, the more resources he will receive. This is the way of surviving in this place. Our boy seems to like it. That's when another teacher greets her while they pass by, but the girls are all looking at our boy asking who is he. The teacher is leading him personally while we were led by seniors in groups of 10. Is he a VIP or something? The guy that is a senior explains to the overflow girls that special recruitment students will have a teacher assigned to them to help them. First, to familiarize them with the school faster, and second, to have an easier time recruiting them for their house. The albino girl is thinking about our boy, so he's the first place I need to know more about him. The robot, Saki, first place level 13 Saint Knight. And the randoms don't seem to believe saying that it's impossible. A Saint Knight is a support class, and in the second place, it's a level 14 Berserker. How can a support class be faster than a DPS class? But the girls are thinking that our boy is handsome enough to be a celebrity, and it would be incredible to receive some buffs from him. Even Silver Bimbo is getting shy, and she cannot stop looking at our boy. The guy of her side gets envious seeing that all the girls want to feel the healing of our edgelord and shouts, I think the first place is fake. Our boy looks back and the guy points his finger saying, I am a level 13 punishment knight, rank 38, and I suspect that you don't have enough strength to be ranked 1, so in challenging you to a duel. The senior grabs him by the shoulder. Student duels are something that you resolve in private, so don't waste everybody's time. Everyone thinks the same thing. What the hell is guy doing? But the side characters can't hold themselves when they see the chance to be humiliated, so he says, don't worry, senior. I got this. But everyone now wants to watch, of course. And they know that this Legion guy wants to use our hero as a stepping stone. That's because they think that a Saint Knight is not a strong fighting class, so we can easily step on him. But our girl healer asks, why should I accept the challenge? The guy bets 100 score points. You get that. If you win and if you lose, you don't need to give me anything. Our boy wants the points, so he needs to accept this challenge, but also wants to use this guy as an example. He needs to be cruel, and only then they will remember. So he says, 300 score points and I will fight you. Everyone was puzzled and shaking. He only got 400 points by getting into the top 40. That means that he will lose everything if he don't win against our hero. People behind him are speaking saying that's a heavy price for a loss. He's trying to stand out right when everything begins and proving that he's one of those fools from the novels. But the guy knows that the albino bimbo is looking at him, and now he made the offer with his honor in the game. Now he can't back off anymore, and he has to keep going. Our boy is leaving. See you later if you don't have the guts. But the guy shouts, stop it. Okay. 300. Let's enter the ring. So if you got some guts after all, we don't need a ring if you don't fall to your knees and 3 moves I lose. But the author had Alzheimer's, they appeared in the ring anyways. The teacher tells everyone 3 seconds, then you can act, but no killing moves. 3, 2, 1, boom. The guy rushes in thinking that a punishment knight is just like a saint knight since both of them came from the knight class. But the punishment knight excels in dealing damage while the saint knight is just a support, so this will be a piece of cake. I just need to be fast so he cannot use his buffs, then the silver gorgeous princess madam will look at me differently. But unfortunately for him, the name of the series is SS Saint Knight, and boy, you're going to get humbled while she's going to look at you differently with disdain and disgust. There he comes with blood slash. Our boy just sidesteps and throws a knee in his belly, and the guy goes flying out of the ring almost dying already. Our edge boy says that it was boring his truck. I thought that he had something up his sleeves. Turns out he's down with 1 hit. The senior goes to help the guy, and everyone is in shock. He comes and says the guy broke 5 ribs and has internal bleeding and, of course, fainted. Juicy Goth doesn't seem to care and just says, let a priest heal him. She gave back our boy's card saying that 300 points have been sent for him. The silver-haired demon girl cannot take her eyes off her boy, and her design is fire, gotta say. Everyone doesn't seem to understand what happened, and she's thinking about the difference in their strength. So she calls for him, please have a match with me, then hurt me a lot, so in the end, you can heal me joking. She just asked for the fight, but maybe the second part is going to happen. Our boy uses the system to look at her. He knows that it's the girl that was at the gate. She has some bloodline and also legacy equipment, which is something like a legendary weapon. Sting something like that. He wants to test his powers, so he accepts. We are back in the ring, and he pulls out his warhammer this time. Some seniors are perplexed with so much fighting between the freshmen, but the other guy says, relax. It's just some rookie spars. The guy is Li Dongshen, one of the Aurora Club captains, level 29 spearman. The panel is 3, 2, 1 begin. Silver Girl is rushing our boy with a shadow slash, and he uses a typhoon slash. The powers collide in the middle of the arena, and both of them seem to be fine. But she is thinking, what powerful strength, he's monstrous. She then uses her demonic powers covering all her weapons with dark magic. But our boy just smiles and goes for the fight saying, finally, someone who can fight me head on. He goes for a juice hammer knocker while she uses an enhanced rapid stab. From outside, no one can see what is happening. The other freshmen are asking, is this really a fight between 2 new students? But Lin Nong says that without a trump card, the girl will lose soon. Purple Hair says that they look on equal footing for him. Lyndon explains that she had to defend 1 swing out of 3 before, but now she's already having to defend 2 out of 3, and that means she's getting exhausted. Which is strange because normally when someone uses a huge weapon, they try to conserve stamina until they see an opening. But Juvia is not showing any sign of conserving his stamina, and it's getting harder for her to block this warhammer. The girl is sent back, and her boy tells her I'm done warming up Gift of God, Gift of Courage, Weapon Blessing, and Blessing of Dome. She thinks that this is too much pressure. This is his true strength while he is also pulling out the Spear of Victory. She uses a phantom slash and dodges our boy's attack. But he says that he knew that she would use that, and the golden spear is about to splash all over her face and make a mess. She asking herself undid him, but boom, she's down. He stops right when he was about to cover her with his holy light and says, do you want to continue? She gets up, no. The result will be the same against such overwhelming aggression and brutality. But our hero knows that she didn't go all out because she didn't use any of her secret swordsman skills and also only a fraction of her dark elemental power. She smiles at him and tells him that he found out, but it's just a spar, so, of course, she's not going to use her trump card. Also, she knows that he's hiding something because she saw his video and then asked for his number. She saves his number all happy while our boy with his thick teacher after some time, they arrive in the place that he will be staying in the door. She told him that she heard that he's looking for the Freezing Lotus and gives him information about a party that 6 years ago was at the Tempest Range searching for it. But they eventually gave up because the monsters were too strong, but she cannot guarantee anything. Suddenly, our boy becomes a hacker, which 300 screens searching for informations on that said mountain, and now he knows that is way too weak to search in that place for the time being. The part is that the system rewarded him an item that can resurrect once for being first place, and because of that, he going to buy everything that he can and go like a psycho. So using his Valorant flicks to buy all the skills he could and also acquire a forest set of equipment, he went to the mountain. Now he's also albino boy that is causing explosion everywhere. While the albino girl is in her room staring at her phone, she invited him to have a juicy workout together, but he refused to go to the mountain. So she calls a friend with green hair that looks like he's going to cause trouble telling her that she met a boy and is special. The friend asks how special and she says that she fought yesterday against him with the intention of her female charm to receive some healing, but unfortunately, he was a Sigma. Her friend tells her that he really has some willpower to resist her when she suddenly shouted that she was going to the mountain range to see him. Then we see a car driving over some monster and a cute girl throwing bombs. She is the mechanical girl, Zhu Xiao, and with her is the smart-looking cold summoner Wen Qianrun. But suddenly, a monster was above their car and was going to explode them. But relax. We have the Chicago citizens, Zhu Dan, to easily kill those guys with a Tristana ultimate. Then she shouted for someone to act, and finally, we saw something amazing. With thick thighs, enveloped by blue stockings, was the swordsman, Su Qinglian. The mechanical girl was celebrating the victory when the summoner told her to step back and made an ice protection spell that was absolutely evaporated by a fire blast. The cars were destroyed and everyone was hurted. The metric girl was trying to fix everything so they could flee when the other girls from the floor shouted for her to run. Behind her, some creatures were casting a blast attack from their mouths. Staring at the imminent death, they all thought the same thing. Will we really meet our end here? The magma-like was launched on the girls when our boy was arriving with his white wolf. He activated the sacred storm and huge golden cross appeared around the monsters. The cross started to rotate as creating a typhoon of sacred flames. The monster were agonizing when a heavenly creature said, "The light converges and the storm falls." All the monster got sucked to the sky from where a gigantic golden blade was coming. When everything exploded, debris went flying everywhere. And with the dust settling, our boy just tapped on his wolf, signaling him to cease the fire. The four babes were perplexed with the forest being vanished in a second, while our boy just used his warm, comfy, oozy healing on them. After filling them with his heavenly light, the girls stood up and thanked him. They were quite ashamed for being saved by the new junior, and the thick-thighed babe told him that even though he was strong, it would be better for them to go back and restock their supplies. Our boy was thinking that it has been 1 whole month that they're searching for the frozen lotus without success. In 3 days is going to be the competition, so maybe is a good time to go back, and so he accept the offer. Thicka nodded to Mechagirl that created a new GX spider giant mech shine, and with that, they went together. On the way back, our healer was talking with a wide one as always, asking if it is common to have demons in this region, but she told him that her team have come to hunt a lot of times there. But it's the first time that they saw demons. Then he asks if there's some military base around, and she says that there is a resupply and trading base that also protect the place against high-level demons. Because those demons were level 20, they were not detected. But it's strange how those demons suddenly appeared. Maybe there's some sort of dimensional crack that is bring them that means at any moment, a ton of demon can appear. Suddenly in the car, they felt the presence of demons and a purple light from far away was shining. They instantly knew that was someone they've been targeted by the demons. Zhao Yi told them to go back first and he was going to see what was happening there. They shouted his name telling him that it was dangerous. In the way, he felt the presence of someone and asked himself why she was here. In the middle of the forest, a group of trash were talking saying that they should just leave the girl to die cause it is impossible to deal with 20 platinum demons. In the fight, the demon was attacking with a laser beam and of course, the albino babe was the one about to die because she only had some more seconds of her bloodline skill. The demons were attacking her relentlessly, but the group was big and alone wasn't possible. She killed a bunch, but they just kept coming. Look at her face, all angry when suddenly she heard someone saying thunderfall. A parade of light came from the sky creating golden explosions through the whole battlefield, and even though the amount of demons was immense, the area of effect was big enough to leave that place desolated. Zhao Yi arrived, shouting for her and move away. An immense purple creature was screaming, releasing a power right behind her. She covered her ears out of pain while the king with the berserk body of fire was standing there. The creature jumped in her direction and she told Tejui be careful. She knew that the demon power has just doubled and now was uncertain if the duo could beat that, so she had the saddest plan on earth. She wanted to self-destruct and protect Xiaolian. But thank God, he just grabbed her waist and pulled her before the demon was able to strike her. He looked behind and used his punishment of light in the whole area and once more surrounded the whole battlefield with a light punishment from the sky. He told her that now he understood why so many people like to be mags. Killing monster from so far away feels great. But right in front of them, another group was coming and suddenly, they were completely surrounded. Is it just me or has the art style changed completely? Our edgy healer uses golden fingers to imprint some comfy warmth inside her. She felt her body being filled with all those buffs. From slow regeneration to the gift of God. Seeing her own status panel, she was impressed with the creamy points that she just gained. He told her to go left to distract the creatures while he was going to kill as much as he could. He rushed with his warhammer and the monster was getting ready to attack him, but his holy slash was easily cutting everything. Running with the wolf, Jiangchu was thinking that her status increased by a total of 25%. Superpower almost doubled. But according to what she knows, not even level 25 Saint Knight can buff so much and even stranger is only at level 16. But that was the moments that a creature punched the floor right in front of her. She had to stop with Wolf and get ready for the fight, but the wolf easily attacked the purple demon. She was also attacked and had to besiege her weapon with her dark aura because she needed to buy as much time possible to Juya that at the same moment was cutting through dozens of creatures. He distracted for a second and a monster had the opportunity to attack him from behind. When the blade was about to touch his neck, a dark circle aura perpetuated a whole sky vanishing that creature. It was Jiangchu utilizing her shadow succubus whip that I wouldn't bother to let it hit me 3 times at max. Seeing all those creatures around them, our hero noticed that all of that was happening because of him. His holy powers was attracting every dark monster as a moth goes to flame. And he knew that it was the perfect time to use his best kick like Cristiano Ronaldo sending a dome protection to John. He touched his chest and summoned a holy cross, but the size of this one was incomprehensible. With a hopping 200 meters range, all the demons in the area were disintegrated by the holy flame while John was standing there completely mesmerized with such a destructive power. The only creatures that could stand were those of high ranks, but relentlessly and without wasting a second, Jody said, "Under the holy light, all darkness shall be vanquished because if when the light converges, the storm falls." It was his special attack that creates a circling cross around the creatures that rotates until it creates a tornado that vanishes the whole battlefield. From behind the forest, no one could believe what they were seeing. Is that something that a human really can do? The soldier asked his captain, "Should we announce ourselves?" The captain was level 26 and knew that his team couldn't fight those creatures, but that guys alone are sullying everything, but maybe that was the perfect chance for him to make friends with such a prodigy. It was one of the 4 girls that he just saved appeared again in the spider mecha. A Chicago babe was about to say that they arrived to help him, but all they saw was a desolated place with our 3 heroes standing. Zhao Yi drank a potion leveled up to 18, but his status was way higher than your average level 18. And with 156 plus 39 of wisdom, he was smart enough to leave a like in this video. Do you remember that the last chapter ended right when he and our dear Jiangchu had just defeated the boss? He leveled up a few times and drank a little potion. Juyi realized that he had many skills but not enough mana to use them all and decided that he would ask the teachers about it when he returned. Su Xinglian came to talk to him, asking how he managed to handle everything. Even the sharpshooter Zhu Dan commented that his strength was somewhat unusual. Before he could answer, Jiangsu collapsed to the ground exhausted. The long battle had drained all her succubus powers. The girls kept asking how he had faced so many demons. Juyi said they were only level 23 demons, so it wasn't difficult. But the girl kept analyzing him. He asked what the problem was. She explained that the legion of demons like humans had a general, and if he wasn't there, it meant he would soon appear. With that, they started to retreat. In a forest, people were still wondering what the boss was going to do. When he was about to say something, everything started to shake, and they felt a demonic aura. In the sky, they could see something resembling a dragon's visage approaching. It was the white dragon, and there was someone on its back. It was a level 30 demon summoning monster flying on a level 24 fire albino dragon. All emergency radars in the region began to activate. Over the walkie-talkie, they were warned that all troops should prepare for combat. An army of adventurers quickly formed, and everyone received notices at other bases to also take the teleport and head to that region. The priest began to gather mana in case they needed to use a lot of magic to heal the wounded. The mags prepared to cast spells and the warriors were teleported. Men, those guys are prepared. And a boy went to inform the northern major that the troops were waiting for commands. He drew his sword, shouting a war cry, saying that he was the blade that cut the thorns and the shield that protected that land. The soldiers repeated the words and with that, he gave the order to advance. On his throne, the demon king said that each of the attackers was always personally chosen by him. He had lost less than a dozen in all the time he had been on Earth, but this time, they had lost hundreds of lives. He then informed the army that since they were leaving tomorrow, they were free to do whatever they wanted. The demons celebrated saying it was the best gift, while the king said he would never forgive whoever did that. Already on top of the dragon, he promised he would steal the soul and burn it in hell. Zuyi and the group just watched it, and the demon king gave a summoning ability. With that, platinum-level creatures were summoned. Su Qinglang used an analysis device and noticed that there were several platinum and legendary-level monsters. She turned to Zuyi and said that the blue squad would protect him and told him to escape. He was confused and the babe stepped in, saying his life was very important. Su Xinglian thought that a genius like him could not die there. It's worth dying for the boy. Man, they are dedicated. You just met him and already want to die for our boy. From the sky, a foot started to emerge from a golden pentagram. Giant Shu was confused and the girls celebrated, saying it was the Northern Protection Team. But the demon told them not to celebrate because no one could enter with a teleport inside the barrier formation. Suxing Liang responded that it didn't make sense, but the army appeared. The problem was that it was very far and the leader asked what happened. The teleport guys said they went to the nearest place outside the barrier since they couldn't enter it and said they would have to wait for it to disperse. The northern major asked how long, and he said at least 5 minutes. He took a deep breath and said to prepare the information about the people who were inside. When the battle was over, they should at least collect their remains so that the families could hold a burial. Man, did they kill our protagonist and our babes just like that? Calm down. Our boy is still there. And the system appeared saying legendary demons have been detected and missions were created. He should kill the demon spawn and would receive an S-rank talent plus a fortune medicine. Obviously, our boy smiled and got excited. If there's a mission, there's a way. He walked forward with a golden aura and the girls were all asking what the hell he was going to do again. The king remarked that he had a thick and sacred aura. What you mean by that? Expressing certainty that he was the one who killed the demons and if that were the case, he would have to be killed. He advanced declaring that he would die in infinite agony. Calmly with his golden eyes, Juyi drew his weapon. The dragon prepared a lightning attack and launched it towards the group. Suking Liang screamed desperately for our boy, but he simply raised his arm and sent a light attack towards the dragon. I thought it would be like a Dragon Ball's impact or nothing happens, but his attack pierced through, even tore off the wing of the fool up in the sky. With that, the king and the dragon began to fall, crashing to the ground. The poor demon was still getting up when Zhao Yu was already beside him, ready for smash him. But the demon was not weak and managed to react, sending a slash towards him. Strangely, it was nothing where he struck, and something was already coming from the side of his head. He almost got hit by a hammer, barely defending himself. Man, the impact lifted the entire ground, and the demon had to retreat. Even he was confused about how it was possible for an 18th level human to have enough power to go against him. Juyi, fully confident, said that he was more resilient than he thought. The demon, enraged, leaped towards him before he could finish speaking. The protagonist jumped, dodging, and sent a light slash from above. The demon was hit and got a disoriented status. With that, Juyi prepared a light punishment, and the demon tried to activate a demonic fire shield. The attack hit the shield squarely, and the demon seemed to be able to withstand it. That damn Zhu said it looked like he would have to take this seriously. It was time to use what he received when he finished the exam. The demon seemed confused and called for the approaching generals. He gave the order to kill Zuyi, who was dancing like a cute princess in the sky. The boy's dance was no joke and that thing was radiating a golden aura. The girls were all in shock at the performance and the knights were a bit confused. The Unimonsters didn't understand what was happening until Zuyi clasped his hands together and a giant palm came from the sky. The Demon King had a premonition that something terrible was about to happen. The light beam began to sweep the area until a hand crushed everything there. The girls were wondering if that really was Zuyi's doing. Even Jiangchu's bloodline was scared. The Northern Major said that it was enough to rival a magical canyon. He asked if they already had information about who was inside. The teleport guy said they were all students from Ken University, and the one who had unleashed this ability was the Holy Knight Juyi. The Major said it would be very sad to lose someone so strong, especially since the Demon King would not lose to that. At that moment, the king started to rise, saying that he was brave to have offended the great Arimars. He looked like the monsters from One Punch Man and sent the army of flames to advance. The army was still standing and all of them now imbued with flames. The priest began to give buffs and everyone jumped towards Joey. Debuffs were coming from all sides, creatures from above and ahead. The demon, while his arm was healing, said it was impossible to lose to an 18th level knight. The priest agreed saying they would win because of the numbers. Xiaoyu was worried. God's hand had consumed all his mana and the recovery was very low. The only thing left was the divine summoning, a secret ability of the saint that could only be used once. He activated it, and immediately, a beam of light came from the heavens towards the earth. The energy pierced the demon's barrier, consuming everything in its path. The monsters looked scared, and Arimars didn't know what was happening. Now the rascal drew the legendary 6 wings. Actually, he received a very warm, plumpy hug. Right? Look at the cozy headrest. The demons were still all confused. What were those fiery feathers falling from the sky? Until they all started to burn holy flames. The Northern Major realized it was a divine summoning technique. The teleport guy didn't even know what that was. The Major explained that it was a maximum level ability that only some divine classes possess. Once he saw a level 58 priest use something similar and change the battlefield. Orima's dying of rage said it was impossible for an 18th level person to have such a secret ability. The priest tried to warn the king that if this ability was not interrupted, the entire legion would be exterminated. Orima said that ability could switch between attack and defense and asked how long the Shadow Valley Gate needed. The guy said 1 minute was all they needed. The king said he understood and declared that it was time for them to show their loyalty. He ordered all those remaining in the army to sacrifice everything they had for Orimus. One by one, the monsters knelt, sending all their energy to the demon. He concentrated the power in his chest, forming a purple energy. Meanwhile, Zuyu was flying in the sky, carried by his big and thick angel. She whispered in his ear that this species was vile and low, and she would grant him divine power. Stretching the boy's hand, she recited the classic, "Then God said, let there be light." A single beam of light cut through the sky and exploded the ground. The demon stood up, all battered. The attack had created a wound in his belly, but the fiend had not fallen. He retaliated with an attack of black flames, raising an orb of malignant energy and summoning solar fire. Confident, he knew this was the secret ability of the demonic flame race, achievable only because his people had sacrificed themselves. Now he was resolute and sent the demon son toward Zuyi. Our boy did not dodge. He stood still and static. The heavens exploded. Below, Oromaz was exhausted from using so much energy, and the girls were all anxious, asking when the boy was. There he was, relief, intact with golden eyes. The demon started getting angry, saying it seemed they were now on the same level, but it was okay since a minute had passed and the return formation was complete. He only needed to get out of there. However, Jabaya proclaimed that the heretic should be judged in the name of the gods and ordered him to die. He launched a light slash that hit the demon's back, tearing half a field. Through the smoke, he approached. The demon writhing on the ground begged to return to his sacred realm until his arm fell to the ground lifeless. The demons who had given their powers were hiding behind some rocks, unsure of what to do. In the sky, Juyi saw that the demon was dead and the formation had been broken. Realizing it was finally over, he fainted. As he fell, the cheerleaders ran towards him. He regained consciousness to see them all worried and the northern army approaching. He had people talking about his message and was trying to lift his hand in the hospital, saying he couldn't get up because there was something on his chest. He wondered if he was cursed or dying when he suddenly woke up in a panic. Then he noticed. It was the succubus sleeping on him. She said she had been there for 2 days while he thought the damn babe nearly killed him. She wasted no time pulling him in and giving him a cheek kiss, thanking him for saving her. She stayed for a moment and then left the room. Man, our boy was left a bit confused. The first thing that made him sad was not completing the daily missions while he was sleeping. At least he defeated the Demon Legion and received the S-rank talent Death Resistance, which makes him regenerate faster the closer he is to death. Additionally, he received an S-rank potion, the Potion of Luck. Our boy thought the talent had a simple name and effect, but being S-rank, it surely wasn't weak. The psychopath drew the blade and gave it a test. His body was healed immediately and he trusted the system's talent. He then wondered if he might even regenerate his organs and was already drawing the big axe. Then he realized that might be too much. Seeing the system's potion, he wondered how lucky he'd be drinking it. However, since the effect lasted 12 hours, he said he would check it later. Another reward was a halo of Sacred Flame level A. He remembered when he used the ability. Something appeared on his back, and he wondered if that was it. He was curious about how to best use his abilities since it increased fire and light damage. Someone knocked on the door. He went to the meeting with the Northern Vice Captain who informed him they had captured the other demons. Zhao Yi said it was nothing and asked what he wanted. Wang Lang then said the Major should have come to thank him, but was busy. He took an orb from his pocket, which began to open the room and form a kind of warehouse. There were various legendary rank items. He explained they had been accumulating these things for centuries, and he could choose what he wanted. Chui saw there were many S-rank treasures and immediately asked if they had a frozen lotus. After searching, Liang found it and asked if it was that one. Our boy smiled, saying it was exactly that. Liang felt a bit uneasy as it was more valuable than he thought, but agreed and dissolved the projection. He mentioned that the lotus was protected in their center, so it would take a few days to bring it. Technically, he wasn't supposed to give away something so valuable. However, it was perfect for the southern folks to ally with a prodigy like Xu Yi. He then opened the door, but Ju Yi told him that he needed to return to school tomorrow, so they should send the lotus to his dormitory. Liang acknowledged this, realizing he had forgotten that the boy was a student. With that, he left saying Ju Yi would receive it in 2 days. Our boy collapsed onto the couch relieved thinking his sister was now safe. His greatest ally in this whole story had been Oriuma's, whose death led him to gain the lotus. Seeing that it was almost midnight, he needed to finish his daily missions. Meanwhile, Su Qing Liang was extremely dangerous and soapy. Her friends came running to her, suggesting they should invite Ju Yi to join their team. She responded that she thought he would refuse since it was easier for him to hunt alone. Her friends insisted that she should at least try inviting him with some extra insistence. She then knocked on the boy's door, but our boy was attempting to seduce her by lifting his shirt. She was a girl with few words and immediately asked if he wanted to join the Blue Phoenix team. He seemed a bit confused and she mentioned that the girls on the team missed him and his warm and cozy healings. Gracefully, she approached, saying she wanted to thank him for what he did in the valley. The King of Cheek Kisses and another one as she left. Our boy thought that the girls at this university were very bold. These were the most laid-back ones I'd have ever seen. My man is not ready for some Sunda aggression. At a meeting, a guy informed everyone that the demons had learned to travel through portals. The projection of Horned Man asked if he was sure and what that meant. The Northern Major explained that it meant demons could now attack the Earth at any moment. If multiple openings were made, they could be in danger of extinction. The only relief was that only level 30 creatures could pass through medium-level openings. The Horned Man responded that if that was the case, they needed to act quickly. Instructed the Snake Girl to prepare legions for any attack, and the Senator Jong, who was the cat, to inform other countries about this. A man with a red mark on his forehead asked if all this was due to the 18-year-old boy, showing the projection of our boy. He confirmed that his name was Zhu Yi and that he was a holy knight at Sakang University. Seeing that he ranked first as a holy knight, people were shocked. It was extremely rare for a support class to be any other. They advised Wang Hu to personally check on this boy. He agreed, giving the Northern Major confidence that Zhu Yi would receive everything he needed. At Sakang University, the first day was starting. The teachers of each class gathered there. In front of the crowd, they all introduced themselves. The head of the Warhouse introduced himself as Wu Meng, welcoming everyone to the university. He announced that the rookie competition would now begin, conducted in 2 phases, with the first being a secret kingdom challenge. In the second phase, everyone would have a chance to challenge someone ranked above them. And if they won, they would steal that ranking. Thick Goth teacher was there looking for our boy, wondering where he was. The red-haired guy in the crowd listened to everyone talking about Zhu Yi. No one had seen him for a month, and the guy was confident he had fallen out of fear. Wu Ming announced the start of the competition and ordered the secret Silver Kingdom to open. A giant gate opened in front of them, and he said that this year, they had the largest army ever seen. Therefore, only this time, the abyss difficulty would also be open. Everyone was excited. This extra difficulty was about 12 times harder than normal. Seeing the excitement, Wu Meng shouted for everyone to bring their best weapons and prepare. The secret kingdom was the home of the bears for levels 12 to 19, and people began to teleport. At that moment, the rankings started updating. He asked where numbers 1 and 3 were, and Juicy Dark Babe explained that both had gone north to gain experience but hadn't returned. Wu Meng said it was ridiculous for 2 such promising individuals to skip initial training and that they seemed conceited just because of their high ranks. Voluptuous Obscure Sphere Holder tried to explain that Zhu Yi wasn't like that, but he said there was no need to protect him. If they were upset, they should just reverse the rank. But suddenly, our boy was bringing the succubus girl like an Amazon delivery. He ran so fast that no one even saw them enter the portal. The system warned that it would be an extremely dangerous place where the return scroll could be used. Our boy was in a hurry. As soon as he entered, he used 4 blessings, facing an army of level 17 bears. For someone who had killed a bunch of level 30 demons, it was easy. Meanwhile, John was easily killing the bears. The red-haired guy was confident that he would be the top one. The blondie was Shubing, and the professors were impressed with this year's students' performance. Wu Meng said he wanted to see what number 1 was doing to have spent so much time in the north. Our boy was already equipped with his halo and axe. One swing and the monsters exploded, leaving no trace. The first level of the 16 bears was defeated in 5 seconds, which the elders thought was impossible. They discussed how someone from the support class could kill faster than others. However, thinking about our boy's ring, it commented that the boy didn't waste any time. Using it activated the light punishment and cleared the field. He headed towards the boss, jumped, pulled out the victory spear, and finished another one. Quickly, he was advancing and leveling up his talents, impressed by their evolution. He knew that the power of a class depended on talents. Previously, he only had the S-rank talent of the Holy Knight. However, now it was much easier to fight without spending so much energy. He was already done in approaching the exit when a message indicated he could open additional secret levels. He sensed a terrible dark smell, but knew it would be fun. The professors were impressed, saying he was brave and adapted very quickly. However, the tactics professor, Zhong Ling, said he had a problem. The Holy Knight class required many points to evolve in all directions, which could be a problem. Wu Ming said that once he finished the test, he would have a talk with the boy. However, now everyone wanted to have a conversation with him and have him as a student. Then the director and the man from the projection meeting appeared, saying they seemed excited about Zhu Yi, and he was eager to see his power. In the middle of the dungeon, Zhu Yi wondered if a cult was happening there. Just as there were benevolent gods, there were also evil ones. The one sitting on the throne reeked of darkness. Praying to a divine god was a simple act of trust. However, evil gods demanded sacrifices of the soul and life. Observing the carcass on the throne, he knew that not only humans prayed to evil beings. Even beasts, elves, even angels prayed to such gods. In front of him, a giant level 19 bear formed, announcing that he would be a perfect sacrifice. Zhu Yi knew that the creature was immune to physical attacks, which would be very sad for a martial artist. He activated everything he had and called the beast to attack. Surrounded by a whirlwind of golden light, the bear said it was useless and leaped at him with a dark blow. The whirlwind dissipated, but Zhu Yi was intact in the middle. He just observed and the bear roared, saying that light was strong but insignificant compared to the immortality he had achieved. He continued cursing Zhu Yi, saying he would die. Zhu Yi, tired, told him to resist this. He created a golden orb above the monster, and when the smoke cleared, it was still alive, shouting again that he was immortal and the light would not kill him. Zhao Yi said he shouted too much and began making multiple light orb summons above the beast. The poor thing began to explode and the energy it had been accumulating was consumed. After a minute and 12 seconds of continuous magic, he finally won. Received a golden horn as a reward and left, saying that immortality was just an illusion. All he had to do was burn the power until it ran out. The only thing that caught Zhu Yi's attention was that the place had a strange power. It seemed like the opposite of the divine power he used for summoning. Probably, the evil gods have something like that. The flame guy was fighting the bears until he finally killed them again. He was exhausted, saying this extra level was harder than he thought. Facing another one, he was confident he would win in 8 minutes and charge forward. The chubby one was impressed with Zhu Yi's magic, saying he was indeed a surprise for everyone. He had already left the zone and everyone wanted to recruit him. Then the director gave a little cough to the guy beside him. Wu Ming wondered if the chief of the place was really interested in the boy. They found it incredible that he was already at level 19, considering he was level 13 on the day of the test. The director explained that he evolved so much because he spent all his time hunting in the northern region. For someone who defeated a demon flame general, that test was too easy. Shortly after, the fire guy also emerged from the portal. Seeing Zhu Yi, he wondered if the kid had cleared it before him. He was already fuming, saying it was impossible for him to lose to this trash. He carried the glory of the 8 great families and was not supposed to lose to a northern trash. Meanwhile, Zhu Yi wondered why the guy was so shaken. Suddenly, Zhong started to fall awkwardly. You know what happens next. Our boy saved her in midair. The girl mid-fall was already smiling, saying he was amazing for finishing before her. A second later, people were crashing down around them. Sumai rushed in, telling them to call the medical team immediately. An hour later, everyone was healed. Wu Ming announced that the first phase of the competition was over and it was time to announce the rankings. For some reason, the red-haired guy was confident, even having seen Zhao Yili before him. Obviously, our boy came in first with about 5 minutes, while Shen Lingfeng took more than 20. Seeing this, the fool was furious, wondering how the bastard had finished 15 minutes earlier. Distracted, he tripped and hit his chin on a pillar, thinking about how he would take down that kid later. Zui just looked to the side, wondering why that guy was up there. Wu Min announced that the second phase would start, and everyone could challenge someone. Each participant had 3 challenge opportunities in a 5-minute rest. People started announcing their challenges and someone, of course, mentioned Zhao Yu. It was Ling Feng smiling confidently and calling it out. Cracking his fingers, he said now they would see who was really stronger. Jiangsu explained that this guy was in second place and also had the dragon fire lineage. While she explained our boy thought the guy was a fool for challenging him when he was clearly stronger. Without much hesitation, he jumped up and told the guy to come at him with everything he had. Ling Feng, excited, said they would see who was stronger, the Holy Knight or the Berserker. As soon as it started, Ling Feng leaped up with a fire punch and Berserker lineage. The professors commented that he seemed eager to finish quickly. However, the flames that hit Zhao Yi didn't even pass the sacred barrier. Ling Feng found it strange and asked when he had used that ability. Due to the B+ sacred protection, any physical attack was blocked up to a certain amount. Poor Ling Feng was already shaken. His plan was to prevent the guy from using this protection, but now it was ruined. Xiao Bei smiled, saying it was a good plan, but he activates that ability in 0.1 seconds. He raised his axe, saying he gave this chance just to see if the fight could be good. He then swung in his face, saying enough of this. Lang Feng tried to activate a fire shield, which was shattered in 0.5 seconds. The boy was being ejected from the arena, wondering how this bastard was so strong. He looked down and saw nothing because Ju was already beside him. Angry, he said he wouldn't lose and activated something. An explosion happened in the skies and he had activated the fire dragon body. Again, Judy appeared behind him, saying it seemed like that was his hidden lineage. Grabbing the guy's hand, he thought he envied those born with such blessings. However, ready to hammer him, he said that even with that, he stood no chance. He spooked the entire arena and Ling Feng survived barely. Zui realized the guy dodged at the last second. Ling Feng declared that the dragon lineage wasn't limited to physical powers and now he would see its true power. He sent a fire breath toward Zui, who stood there as always. The audience had no idea who would win and Zhong was becoming insecure. Then Ju Yi activated the sacred fire ring. Since it had flame properties, Ling Feng's powers began to be absorbed. For him, that guy in front was like a king. He shouted to himself that this was impossible and sent another attack. However, Zhu Yi said it was useless as flames never escaped his control. Attacking with a hammer, he announced it was time to finish this. Seeing his own flames coming at him, Ling Feng said he would never die from the power he had. He activated his lineage power, claiming he would regain control of his flames. But he got smacked in the face and was thrown out immediately. He collided with the arena's protection and then the lineage dispersed. With that, Zhu Yi had won, and the medics came to help the poor guy. The professors commented on how strange it was for someone with so much magical power to also have so much physical power. Suddenly, another girl, also the top of her region, entered the arena. She introduced herself as Song Jilin, a level 17 Toa's priestess who wanted to learn from him. Zhao Yi thought that the Toa's priest class was quite rare. He introduced himself, and she asked if he had used all this power, requested that he activate all his buffs so she could feel his stats. Everyone commented on this strange request, and our boy agreed. She thanked him, and he began activating a bunch of buffs. She was impressed, and our boy raised a golden light, stating it was his maximum power. Confidently, she activated several talismans and asked him to use everything he had. At that moment, he swung his hammer on her head. She surrounded him with talismans, cast an enchantment, and commanded an explosion. The terrain was destroyed, and as she ran around, she wondered where Zhu Yi had gone. He appeared behind her, asking if she really thought she could escape that easily. He spun a hammer again, which she barely managed to defend against. She was scared that even with all her defensive passives, it was difficult to defend. Deciding to take a risk, she threw some spheres at him and performed a jutsu. She borrowed the power of Qian Ku and commanded the horde to obey her. Joviu found it interesting that a Taoist priestess could summon soldiers. They charged at him, but our boy just prepared and hammered them all. He noticed the creatures weren't strong but seemed to recover very quickly. He kept striking while the girl couldn't believe it. That formation had trapped level 30 people before, and he was handling it easily. A second later, he was behind her, about to strike again. Realizing she couldn't win, she surrendered, apologizing and admitting that Zhu Yi had won. He asked why she didn't go all out. She winked, saying she knew she couldn't win, so she accepted defeat gracefully. She wasn't stupid. She knew that taking Zhu Yi's heavy hits on her small, plumpy body would prevent her from fighting in the other two battles. She left, thanking him. Our boy turned to the crowd, spun his hammer, and asked who was next. Obviously, no one was eager to challenge him. Zhongshu was proud, while Sumai said it was expected that he showed strength beyond imagination. Wei knew that all the professors would want to recruit the boy. Sumai turned to speak to the chief, who said she didn't need to worry. He had a strategy to recruit the boy. A guy came to knee Lin Feng in the chest, and before he fell, he grabbed his arm and kneed him in the chin too. Poor guy was done for. Wang Li, the blondie, said it was a good fight, but that he didn't stand a chance. Half an hour later, it was all over. Zhu Yi was first, Jiang second, and Song third. They then gathered in front of the professors. Wang Li started introducing each of the houses. The house he belonged focused on battlefield survival and was called the House of War. The wizard with magical powers was obviously from the elemental house. The redhead announced that those who wanted to use weapons should join the House of Armaments. The old woman, or possibly just someone with white hair, said that her house was for those who like battlefield strategies. The chubby guys said that those who like to create weapons could go to the House of Logistics. Each of them was boasting in their own way. At that moment, Jiang approached our boy and asked where he was going. Wu Ming said that if Zhu Yu went to the House of War, he would be his instructor. Our boy asked about the advantages, and Wu Ming replied that each mentor could recruit an elite student who would learn various techniques and receive exclusive resources. The wizard immediately offered legendary magical equipment, claiming he would be the best mentor. However, the armament guy disappeared and reappeared beside him, saying he would receive any weapon he wanted. There was a fight with all the mentors wanting to recruit our boy, who felt something similar had happened once before. The underdogs were all shaken, how he become second choices. Wang was trying to come up with a plan to steal him from everyone else. The school director then suggested that Zhu Yu become his personal disciple. Everyone turned around without saying a word. The director mentioned that he would bestow upon Zhu Yu the power of a bloodline. Zhu Yu asked what he would gain from this. The director explained that if it worked, he would receive the bloodline of another species. People were amazed and Lin Feng grew even more enraged at our boy. Meanwhile, Zhong was intrigued, thinking her brother would become even stronger. With the director's offer, no one dared to object. He then brought out an orb with a sword, saying it was a gift from the captain. Lin Feng recognized it as a medal of honor. How did the damn Zhu Yu receive such a thing? Everyone was shocked. To receive a medal of honor, one had to have done something incredible for the nation. The message stated that it was a token of respect for those who contributed to China. Our boy didn't know when he had done this. Wang said that he didn't know how the boy received it, but if it was here, he deserved it. With the medal in hand, our boy thanked the director. The old man said there was no need to be so polite. Juyi, now showing acceptance, said it was an honor to become his student. Wang quickly said they should go then. Wu Ming realized the professor was afraid they would steal Juyi from him. As soon as Zuyi disappeared, everyone wanted to talk to Jiang Chu. Now they were fighting amongst themselves while she stood confused in the background. Zhao Yi appeared with the director in a room surrounded by a circle. The room was filled with shells of potions. He seemed impressed and the director explained that it was his private mansion. He then walked saying he would prepare the ability to forge the bloodline technique. A purple circle with 3 elements appeared in the air. The director explained that human bloodlines have a certain limit on how much power they can receive. Therefore, the only way to continue progressing is to mix with the bloodline of another race. Jovi asked if the professor was also interested in leveling up. He said yes, but at his level, it takes years to gain enough experience. Even though he is at level 64, creatures from other worlds that are at boss level are still not easy to defeat. He could receive the bloodline of angels, dragons, or titans. Since his body couldn't accept all 3, he had to choose one. The angel bloodline would give him a high affinity with a light element. The titan bloodline would allow him to control lightning. The dragon bloodline, the purest of all, would enable him to exert pressure on any nearby creature. Juyi knew these bloodlines were from creatures of at least level 60. Humbly, he asked the professor which he thought would be best for his case. The professor appreciated his caution for such an important decision. He advised that the titan and dragon bloodlines were very powerful, enhancing strength and mana capacity. However, since Suya had such an affinity with the goddess of light, the angel bloodline would probably suit him best. Zui agreed that this seemed to be the right choice. The director remarked that Juyi seemed comfortable with the angel bloodline and said he would introduce him to the seniors later. Juyi then asked why he had received the Medal of Honor, and this seemed excessive for just eliminating a simple army. The director revealed that his battle against those creatures last time exposed their plan to invade Earth with small-scale portals. Our boy, shocked, asked if this meant they could appear anywhere in China. The director confirmed saying that several armies were currently being prepared to handle these teleportations. For now, things were under control since the monster levels were low. Therefore, the priority was to nurture future talents, which was exactly what he expected from his student. Our boy was now fully obedient, responding with, "Yes, Professor," to everything. The director then handed Zhao a cube and instructed him to return the next day as the technique would be ready. Observing the choices, Zhao still had decided. He considered using the luck potion, thinking it might help him gain even better things. Without hesitation, he drank the potion, showing no fear. He opened some chests he had stored and received an S-rank flower that increased constitution and spell damage after being consumed. Seeing how much better the gift was under the potion's effect, he knew was very good. It was time returned to the professor. Meanwhile, the mage from the elemental house told the professor that he was being too generous. The angel's bloodline was something that could spark wars between nations. The director said he had been saving it for a long time, and Zuyi was the right choice. Just then, our boy appeared. The director said he seemed prepared and mentioned that the technique was ready. He instructed Juyi to take off his shirt and sit in the center of the formation. There he was ready to receive the angel's bloodline. The director turned to the mage and asked for his assistance. He activated the forging technique and flames of light rose from all 4 sides. Juyi's chest began to glow and energy flowed into him. A strange blue light started emanating from his body, rising into the sky. The old man noted that Juyi already had the cold bloodline. Now the entire place was freezing. The poor mage struggled to maintain the forging technique. The director remarked that he knew Juyi's sister had something similar, so it seemed to be in their bloodline. But they didn't mean to worry since the angel's bloodline would override the other. The strange thing was that they seemed to be in harmony. The director wondered what kind of ice power he had within him to be comparable to an angel's bloodline. Perhaps he was a descendant of a high-level player from the beginning. The biggest problem now was the 2 bloodlines clashing and ultimately losing both. The old man warned that if this happened, it would be like consuming a simple rank treasure. But now, all they could do was trust that Zuyi would achieve results. However, at that moment, a kind of dark energy entered his ear. Zuyi opened his eyes and the gate of consciousness had been opened. A woman in the back of a room said her child had arrived. Chuoyi wondered if this was inside his mind. The woman congratulated him saying she was there to give him true strength. He no longer needed to follow any morals or rules and should follow his own desires from now on. With a macabre smile, she asked if he accepted this power. Jiaoyi found it strange and felt the urge to smash her head with his hammer. The woman extended her hand saying she would bless him with power beyond his expectations, but the hammer was already coming down hitting her face squarely. Facing her, he knew he felt great. It was good to follow his heart. In another place, an angel was blushing and laughing. She sat on a throne with another angel beside her who looked doubtful. "She's the goddess of plenty and warmth. Please let me feel it." She said she saw something very interesting, raising her hands and telling the boy not to disappoint her. The woman who had taken the hammer blow turned angrily, saying he would receive nothing from the gods. But he pointed the hammer at her and said he didn't want anything from her. She called him an insolent brat, and chains emerged from his body surrounding him with eyes from all directions. Seeing him in agony, she said those sounds were incredible and exactly what she had hoped for. Xiaoyi realized she was a slave to the evil god. She slapped him, telling him to shut up, and said he had caught the master's attention. So she was there to perform the baptism. Black flames began to burn his body. He realized that the evil power was corrupting his thoughts while the evil god watched everything. Outside, the director and the mage wondered what was happening. They tried to intervene, questioning why there was the power of an evil god mixed with the blood of an angel. He tried to interfere with the process, but his attack was repelled. The mage warned that it would be better to break the formation, otherwise Zuyi would be consumed. However, one who told him to pay attention, as Zuyi's power was not decreasing, but increasing. Our boy was glowing golden blue, forming even a golden shell. When the aura exploded, the chains were broken. His icy heart was now surrounded by golden flames. The follower of the evil god couldn't understand how he could have so much divine power, and in the next moment, she was also frozen. Now the boy looked like a Dragon Ball character with transformed hair. He wielded the hammer, which had the ice bloodline at the tip, and struck the follower on the head. The entire place trembled, and an evil energy exploded. The demon laughed, saying he would not escape and would leave a like on this video to help Mamoru make more juicy content for his viewers. Activate the cheeky little bell, and I'm out. And I'll remember that last chapter ended when he broke the chains, man. He looked like a golden-haired Goku with something on his forehead. He smacked down with that hammer that had some icy stuff on the tip. The whole place explodes, and suddenly, a demon shows up right in front of him. The creature with countless eyes asks if the little boy is trying to tickle him. It already grabs a chain, warning that the resistance the boy has is just a minor inconvenience in the grand scheme. Sent some attacks for Zui, who was already full of swag, flying around with his ice wings. It looked like he managed to destroy the wings for a moment, but then the monster's expression suddenly changed. Our boy, man, was already behind it, activating a formation beneath the creature. A bunch of ice spikes starts shooting up. Dude, the demon got skewered from every side. The creature then said that the boy was very happy with a little gift he received. The power humans call magic is merely the remnants of the light granted by the true God. But he, as the greatest servant of Master Asura, possesses a power beyond moral understanding. Now the monster was gigantic, and our boy looked tiny in comparison. Here comes another barrage of attacks, but Zuyi dodges with ease, or actually, like his dodging, but at the same time, he's all twisted up. Those giant wings aren't really helping either. Then the creature starts preparing an attack from spatial void. Man, fires a laser right at our protagonist, but his Sigma's always right bro, just stood there, and that thing on his forehead appeared huge in front of him. While the attack was being blocked by that, he charged forward once again. The creature doesn't understand how he's withstanding all of this and tries to launch the same attack as before. But if he figured it out once, he'll figure it out twice. Meanwhile, the hot goddess is watching everything, real happy with our boy's performance. Last time I didn't notice, but this goddess, she looks exactly 1-to-1, like that goddess from the Reaper story, man. Bro, it's literally the same character. And what our boy is doing, man, is cruel. He's poking the monster in the eyes. Now the beast is all twisted up, all squirming, saying it's impossible, trying to understand where his power is coming from. Too late, kid, you turned the lights on in the room at 2 in the morning, and now you're gonna burn in agony. Light flashing everywhere, explosions, and now our boy lands back on the ground. In his hand appears this orb all full of swag with stuff floating around it. Finally, our boy turns back into the regular Zuyi. But even after transforming back, the item was still floating in front of him. A giant pillar of light shoots up outside. The old men are shocked, trying to understand how someone with the power of an angel managed to completely suppress the power of an evil god. Don't even remember anyone's name anymore, guys. I made this story 8 or 9 months ago, but we are gonna call this dude Pedronyan Esther, little rock on the forehead, until we figure out his name again. And Pedronyan Esther says it's unbelievable, but it seemed like Juyi managed to merge the energy of an angel with a bloodline energy of ice. In front of him, bro, is this big old angel chick. Always good to see drawn, floating there while our boy is just quietly cultivating. A symbol appears on his chest, and the angel comes over and presses her big mocus on his head. When he opens his eyes, bro, he's radiating that power smoke. The old guys are congratulating him, saying Xiaoyi is lucky, got a talent like that, and even overcame those challenges. They wanted to know how he was feeling. Our boy, now totally buffed up man, this angel came in with the testosterone, says that his power went through a qualitative change. Then something in the little window catches his eye. He had awakened the bloodline of a six-winged angel. This was the talent that gave him dominance over both ice and light. And the more it evolved, the more elements he'd be able to control. On top of that, he gained immunity to B+ tier magical attacks, plus abilities like Purify and Disperse, for removing negative effects. He was all happy, telling the old men that he got a bunch of divine talents. The stone forehead guy congratulates our boy. Far as he knows, the six-winged angel is the highest bloodline of them all, and now the talents he had already received would keep growing stronger. But as if that wasn't enough, our not even a little bit balanced protagonist has to get even more. Right? Like, he clearly needs more help. He asked what this new thing is that just popped up. It's the S+ angel physique. That's the technique that activates the six-winged angel's bloodline power, and he'd need to master it before reaching level 50. Every time he activated it, though, he'd be weakened for a while afterward. Stone forehead guy immediately tells our boy to use it. He wants to see how much power it gives him. Joey just nods and says, all right. Let's go. He closes his eyes and shouts out angel physique. Energy appears beneath his feet, starts gathering at his chest, and a ball of light forms. The old man couldn't believe that so much elemental power was coming from a single person. On our boy's forehead, that same symbol from before forms again, his eyes turn golden. With that, he reappears in that chugga transformation state, and Pedrinia says that now he can feel the kid is at least 5 times stronger. He asks how our boy explains that his body feels more filled with energy than ever before. The light and ice elements felt like loyal allies he could control however he wanted. The energy was even setting off sensors nearby. A bunch of alerts started spamming, saying it was getting dangerous. Pedruna congratulates our boy but tells him to deactivate it before the system's defense protocols kick in, then he returns to normal. The alarm shuts off, but Chewie notices something weird with his hand. He keeps opening and closing it while trying to heal himself. The old man asks what's going on and Zuyi explains that even though he used the power for only a short time, his body was already exhausted. Immediately, the other instructor says that this will have to be used as a trump card. It's obviously powerful, but it drains all his energy. While the two of them are talking, the old man thinks to himself that whoever wants to surpass Zuyi among the other students is gonna have a hard time. Pedrina then tells our boy that since his ice bloodline is so strong, his sister's probably isn't bad either. He says it's best to give her the lotus soon so she can recover and have a good future. Then he puts a hand on our boy's shoulder and tells him to rest. I think our boy teleported out of there. Right? And the old man asked the other guy what he thinks about Juyi having attracted the power of an evil god. They need to be careful not to risk losing the kid's life. Stone Forehead says he has no idea, but thankfully, Juyi survived. Still, he's going to investigate and won't let anything slip. Now our boy, holding that cube in his hand, knows that soon he'll receive the ice lotus from the people he worked with. The problem is getting something called ice grass, which is part of the process. He shows up in a room counting how many points he has and what he'll need to buy it. Then suddenly, someone knocks on the door. If I had to bet $1 million, it's a big boob girl. And yep, bro, the most badass of them all, and even scared of this one. He turns around and asks what the giant goth girl wants, all blushing and thinking that she saw him just a day ago. But today, he looked way stronger. Seems like he awakened his bloodline. She smiles and says she brought some gifts from the war house that they had promised him. Our boy's confused. He had chosen Wang Hai as his master. So why was the other house giving him resources? I think Petron Han Nadesta is Wang Hai. Right? Azume sits down, glances in the side, and says that even though Master Wang Hai is his personal tutor, he'll still take classes with the Warhouse crew. He asks her if she isn't part of the mage class. Man, this woman's power is so intense that the scene even gets a sunlight effect just to block her view. She says, yeah, she's a mage, but she teaches in the Warhouse. Then she waves her arm and says he can take the resources, and we already see in the list, the second item, right, bro. It was the chilled grass. He clicks it, saying that he's one lucky boy. Who would have thought he'd get exactly what he needed? Him, interesting. He writes down his name and thanks her. Whoa. Suddenly, gives him a glare, saying that now that everything's settled, she's gonna have to teach him a little lesson. Then she starts poking him non-stop, saying he took way too many risks in that test and should have been more careful. She's scolding him while he's thinking to himself that he can't tell how the system said everything was safe. Her expression then changes and she says that every year, tons of geniuses qualify in this place, but only a few become elite. He has to understand that most of them end up failing because they run into some accident and die along the way. She's not trying to nag him, but she asks him to be more careful. Our boy says he understands and then asks if she can recommend a few safe dungeons so he can go back to farming. As Tower is always, she says, all right. Next scene. They are walking through a gate, getting close to some robots, and she says that here he can run extremely realistic training sessions and even choose the difficulty. The creatures went from level 1 to level 10, and at level 10, they could fight head-on with someone at level 20. I don't really remember the level system in this story, but I think 20 isn't that big of a deal. Right? The good part though is that she explains is going to be recorded at all times by those orbs. That way, not only will he be able to train, but he'll also get perfect feedback. Obviously, he needed to be careful since the machines work like programs, so if he sets it to very hard, he might end up getting hurt. She turns around, gorgeous as always, thank you, artist, and says she's going to teach class and it'd be good for him to start on the lower levels. But, obviously, he doesn't care about that and already tells the robot to start on level 7. The program runs, the robots appear, and start moving. On level 7, 50 of them are activated, and suddenly, it's like a bullet is already heading straight for Zuyi's head. Man. The robots were throwing missile machine gun torpedo bombs. But hey, bro, our guy just killed a demon god. He dodges that stuff easy. First, he decides to test out the ice fist to understand exactly how that bloodline works. One punch right into the creature not only destroys it, but also starts freezing everything around him. Another creature to the side fires a shot, but now he raises an ice shield, already hyped, because this power seems super versatile. The creatures are all closing in while he's releasing a vortex there. With that, he summons an ice storm that looks just like the one in his sister's room. Remember the little sis in the bedroom way back at the beginning? Man, that was a while ago. The storm spreads through the place, he draws a pentagram, and when he slams his hand down, the power explodes too. All the surrounding robots drop to the ground and is congratulated for clearing level 7. The training results start being calculated. The system shows he took 3 minutes and our boy's thinking that hopefully, the final one will at least push him a bit. Without wasting any time, he already orders the system to move to level 10. But the system says the level 7 robots have been damaged severely. That's why they were initiating the backup system. Some robotic arm starts hammering on the core in the chest of a robot. Looking to the side, Dewey sees a giant Megazord man. It was a level 10 combat robot, the kind that could go up against someone at level 25. Not only that, this one had the highest current intelligence level. If he ever felt in danger, it'd be smart to stop the battle, or he could seriously get hurt. But Dewey's pumped about it. Finally, he could get a proper training session in. A robot charges up a laser and fires it at him. But it's not just a laser. It's a barrage of ice, just like his own, and it hits his leg directly. The robot then goes for a punch and lands a solid hit on Dewey. But, of course, he had dodged and was already behind it, jumping up with an axe in hand, landing a clean strike on the arm and saying he's going to disarm it first. And, bro, he really disarmed it. The ice arm of the thing vanished. But this robot was no joke. Even with its arm ripped off, it still fired a laser from the same hole. That's when our boy realizes the energy the thing just used was the same as his. He's confused. Why is this creature constantly copying his abilities? And before he can figure it out, bam, the monster's already coming in for a hammer smash. The attack comes, but now our boy's golden hand appears too. Man. The attack is blocked, but chunk of ice on the floor turns into a wolf. When Juyi looks to the side, bro, the creature's already too close, goes straight in for a bite. With no time to use another power, our boy has to rely on brute strength to hold the monster's jaws open. But enough of that. Bam. He unleashes a burst of light and transforms, saying that now he wants to see that boss try to copy an angel's physique. Then we cut to someone placing their hands on an ID panel. It's our dear giant Chu, our succubus girl. She's all happy because it looks like she received a bunch of resources after joining that house. Finally, she can go back there and try to beat level 7, but the system apologizes and tells her to come back tomorrow. The robots today were too badly damaged. She doesn't get it. This is the freshman training field. Most people don't even get past level 6. So how could something like that happen? Even if it was brother Juyi, she knows it wouldn't be easy for him to clear level 10. So who the heck is in there right now? In the battle, some chains started coming out from the Golden Gate. Juyi thinks it's the final boss and says to the creature, "These chains once left me powerless, but now I'll share the agony with you." Oh damn. Right in the wolf's head, bro. Man, I thought the chains were gonna restrain the thing, but no. They straight up shattered it. And now just because I said they shatter, they went and restrained the other one. Damn. He also activates the vision of light, which lets him detect the creature's weak points. And, of course, his attack goes straight for those points. Our boy says he can see the power core in the chest. I mean, to be honest, right, it didn't really take a divine vision to see that huge glowing thing in the middle of its chest, looking like Tony Stark. Zhao Yu punches and creates a massive energy barrier. The robot has to initiate its self-destruct protocol to try to take him down with it. This one takes training seriously, man. That's when our dear Jong shows up through all the smoke. While the systems announced that level 10 had been completed, she's all startled wondering who the hell that demon is in there. But when she gets closer, her expression changes. She sees our boy from behind, radiating that golden aura. He's totally worn out, exhausted, while the robot congratulates him, saying his performance went beyond excellent. Zhao Yi, though, was thinking that because of that wolf, he ended up using way more time than he should have. He needed someone, or maybe a pet, around to handle those little distractions. Someone's approaching. Super thick thighs. If you wanna have her as a pet, just say the word. And there she is already walking up close asking, did you awaken your bloodline? How'd you get so strong? The badass replies that, yes, he awakened the six-wing angel bloodline. Her eyes are all sparkling. She says she knows that one's extremely rare, basically a divine ability. She, on the other hand, has a half-decent succubus bloodline. It's a bit better, but still one of the weaker ones. Looks like he completely ignored what she said, didn't even try to say, nah, it's okay. You'll get strong too. He just walked off, turned around, and said, let's go to the market and buy some pets. Poor girl, no chance for a girl in love. She just goes along saying she's coming with him all happy. Now outside, arriving in the pet area, a bunch of vendors are yelling, while she's pulling on her boy's arm asking what kind of pet he wants. He remembers that storm wolf he used that one time, but it disappeared after the fight. That's why he wants another storm wolf, if possible, one with talents like his. That's when someone with their hand on their waist walks up, saying if that's the case, he's got just the thing. The guy introduces himself as Liu Jishu, a third-year student and seller of level 22 creatures. The wolf he had for sale, he raised it himself, he can guarantee it's top quality. Jong says this guy's a student at Keng University, so the pets he raises are definitely high quality. The guy then brings out the storm wolf, man. It's got one blue eye and one gold eye. What are the chances our boy doesn't take that one? The guy says, right, that this furry sewer rat has been alive for 10 days and its mother was a silver tier storm wolf. So clearly, it's a good one. Our boy answers humbly, man, not looking for no sewer rat. He just wants to know where the gold ones are, bro. He wants the top rank. But Jiangsu explains that it's really rare to find gold rank creatures when they are that young. Our boy says, all right then. He'll take a look at this big rat here. Jiang though comments she's seen some other storm wolves and this one's way too small, probably undernourished. It's gonna be one of those cases where the thing's tiny for 2 days and then suddenly the size of a building. Track Shuyu, all awkward, tries to say it's normal, but the little guy is just small for now, but will grow soon and blah blah blah. But Zuyi is already grinning saying he's taking the black rat, while John is all confused with that dumb smile of his. Right away, Juishu hands our boy a scroll, saying he'll give it to him for free for only 60 points. Wait a sec. Is it free or is it 60 points? You gave him a scammy vendor. That was what allowed him to make the contract. Our boy finds it pretty convenient. Yeah. Obviously, there was some trickery behind it. Jiangsu was selling the weakest one in the whole litter. He thought it was a loss having picked up this creature, but thank goodness. This dumb freshman showed up. Our boy places his hand on the scroll and says the command to awaken. What are the chances now that it turns out to be an insane creature? Jiangsu's face already changed. A black wolf appeared with a moon on its forehead, man. I think it's still small, but now it's full on swag. The pet experts nearby seem to recognize that this is the aura of a legendary creature. Meanwhile, Zhong is clinging tighter and tighter. Any minute now, she's gonna crawl under his shirt. Ji Chio, on the other hand, is losing it. He sold a legendary creature for dirt cheap. The black rat jumps onto our boy's arm, and, of course, it needs a name. And that's exactly why our spherical succubus girl says, oh no. Wait, you're calling it grey. The thing's black, dude. I'm not calling it grey. Ah, Dan, I'll respect your wishes, of course. Right then, Jiangsu comes creeping up, saying that, unfortunately, he sold the creature at the wrong price. He was supposed to charge another 1,500, but, hey, he could cancel the contract now and take the pet back and still come out ahead with 300 points. The other vendors, though, are all laughing at him, saying the idiot sold it for way too cheap and now realizes what a mess he made. And Jui, man, you think he's a fool. He says he's never heard of anyone asking for more money after his sale's already been finalized. The guy's shaking all over, and Zuyi tells him to go, phew, go stop dreaming, man. What's up with you, kid? This talent of yours awakened some evil in your heart. Of course, that clown, Juishu, is still trembling, trying to figure out how he's gonna get out of this. He takes a step forward and already falls backward in fear. Our boy turns to his waifu and says he never wants to see that guy's face again. Meanwhile, John, who's awakening her succubus bloodline, looks at the expression he's making and says, now that you've got grey, unfortunately, we'll have to see each other more often, so I can play with your pet. As he walks out of the pavilion, everyone starts murmuring. They just now remembered. That's Suyi, the guy recruited by the Grandmaster. That's when a guy with flaming shoulder pads and red hair steps up, telling everyone to make way. Looks like he's the brother of the loser who just got wrecked. He's already begging for help, but man, he kicks him so hard, geez, even Suyi doesn't do that to his enemies. His name is Liu Wuchen, and he tells his idiot brother to understand what it means for someone to have received a gold medal. He's lucky the boy just walked away, so it's best he disappear before things get worse. When he finds out Juyi is the one who got the gold medal, the guy's already got his ham on his face, wondering what the hell he's done. Our boy, on the other hand, is observing Grey watching the aura it's giving off. He wonders if this has anything to do with the lucky potions effect and whether it's still active. That's when suddenly, someone knocks on the door. It was the guys from the northern region. Right? The ones he helped before bringing the reward he had been waiting for, the Ice Lotus. Right away, Juyi accepts it and thanks the captain. They place the box on the table and when he opens it, the lotus is inside. Now, he could combine the lotus with the grass to finally form the frozen pill. He clicks to craft the item, but it's so rare that he needs to hire a pill master. Unfortunately, that's not something so easy to deal with. The scene then switches to the pill department. He's arriving there among giant furnaces and finds a receptionist. He wants to know what this guy He-chan is around. The girl explains that he's on a date and that she's his student, known as Lin Yi. She says all he has to do is tell her which pill he needs forged and she'll take care of it. Right away, he shows her the ingredients and says he needs an S-class pill. She's shocked, since those are extremely rare resources and she wants to know how a freshman like him has that kind of stuff. The humble boy says it's all just luck. She then tells him that since he already has both ingredients, he just needs to pay 800 points. That's the cost of production. He leaves his contact info and is told to come back later for it. Numbers are exchanged and the scene cuts to one of the university's corridors. Two guys are chatting about how they heard that creatures from other worlds started showing up in several places. Juyi is listening in and one of them also says that apparently most of the frontline fighters had to retreat. That's because the creatures are spreading all over the world and there aren't enough people to handle them. As he takes his seat, Juyi knows these reports are going to spread. It was inevitable. Then suddenly, someone taps him on the shoulder. His song, glowing outfit perfectly matching his too. She immediately says she was chosen by Master Wu Men, and from now on, they are classmates, and asks him to take good care of her. All right. He offers his hand and says he hopes she'll take care of him too, but she replies that she's way too strong, so that's probably not gonna happen. That's when someone enters the room. It's our massive professor, as always, welcoming the students and introducing herself as Sumai. But before starting the real classes, she had an important announcement to make. As the rumors said, large-scale invasions were happening on every border. Even though the creatures that had appeared recently weren't that strong, the government had to take it seriously. Because of that, the resources allocated to schools like theirs were being multiplied and also, the rewards for missions they take on would be increased. Everyone's getting excited. Not only would they get more resources to grow stronger, but they'd earn even more when they succeeded in missions. That panel right there was just the artist showing off his skills drawing Tsume. The guy's getting good at illustrating that lady. She then asked everyone to calm down and stop focusing so much on the rewards. As students, the first priority should be getting stronger. Our boy is completely love-struck looking at the professor, thinking she seems to be getting stronger every day too. What kind of strength is she building up? Then she crosses her arms and says class is about to begin. Sometime after class, a few guys are talking. One of them says he challenged the goblin dungeon, got destroyed super quickly and lost tons of points. The blonde friend tells him to stop being dumb. He can't go around challenging nightmare difficulty places like that. Hearing all that, Zuyi knows that now that he's level 19 and no longer needs the Lotus, he doesn't have to go back to the north. A dungeon like the Goblin Abyss might actually be a much better place to farm experience. That's when he sees a shiny, radiant succubus standing in front of him. He calls out to her and she's already sticking close. I'm telling you, this girl cannot stay more than 15 centimeters away from him. She tells him that the school is increasing rewards in the realms and came to invite him to go along. Of course, the rascal says yes, and now we are already in the dungeon. She asks what difficulty he's going to pick, and he says it's Abyss, obviously. The poor girl, gorgeous and a little awkward, says Abyss is way too hard. There's a huge gap in strength between them, and it's obvious she wouldn't be able to handle something like that. But now he's the king of minimum distance, pulling her close and saying she doesn't have to worry. If they are on the same team, he'll take care of everything. Just look at the face she makes, eyes a little crossed, saying that if he promises, then I'm okay. But suddenly, she gets all shy and steps away, saying she's feeling too uncertain and will start by trying the hard difficulty first. I thought they were already in the dungeon, but turns out they are still at the entrance. There's a whole commotion going on. One guy is yelling, asking why Xiaomingzhuan, someone with Earth rank, is there. People around are saying he must be trying to break the dungeon's record to get some extra rewards. To Xiabia, though, this is just nonsense. So if you go straight for challenge mode, bet you anything, our boy's gonna finish this dungeon in, like, 10 seconds. Then that other guy's gonna spend an hour in there and come out like, I set the record, only to step outside and see he's in second place. As soon as Zhu Yiyai enters Abyss difficulty, everyone watching freaks out. Xiaomingzhuan says that all these extra rewards are making people way too confident. For choosing a base difficulty, the moment he enters, he loses 400 points. At any time, he could destroy the crystal to instantly escape. Looking around, he wonders if the goblins had destroyed the whole place. It looked like nothing but ruins. When suddenly, the first little goblin appears and immediately swings at him. Bro, in my other stories, goblins were all skinny. These ones are jacked. But for our guy, this is easy. He stops the attack with one hand and slams the trash into the ground. Seeing how many goblins are already charging at him, he starts to get excited. He came into this place looking for a real challenge. Hammer in hand, he smashes the first hit into the creatures. The hammer though is more like a sword, because instead of crushing, it ripped through them. But then, bam, the same scene repeats. He looks to the side and there's another wave of creatures coming. That's when he starts to understand. The difficulty here isn't in their strength, it's in the numbers, which means he's going to have to conserve mana. For now, he sticks to using low-cost abilities to kill the creatures. The good news, the XP is awesome. After some time, he had finally cleared everything. And as expected for someone already at level 19, leveling up was getting harder and harder. He at least hoped the dungeon rewards would help with that. He then opens the final boss door, the Goblin King, level 24, already talking trash. So the foolish human came here, but I have prepared your death. Obviously, the creature doesn't stand a chance, and Zuyai easily dodges the first strike. Still, Zuyai's impressed. Even though it's not that strong, there really wasn't something to underestimate. When the king looks up, bam, a huge beam of light hits him in the head or almost. The boss activated a dominant body skill that formed a barrier. The creature even says it's impressive that human could even scratch him. Seeing that physical attacks weren't working well, our guy whips a chain around the boss's back and completely restrains him. And right then, he notes that for a boss, its magical resistance was shockingly low. So he blasts it with a Kamehameha, and that's the end of the monster man. Dungeon cleared. Just like he expected, he ends up setting the new record. Ah, and there it is, exactly what I said earlier. Right, guys? He already decides to keep running dungeons and pushing forward until he reaches level 20. Outside, people were talking about how this abyss level was actually harder than they expected. No one had finished it until now. Jian was feeling relieved that she picked the hard difficulty instead. While everyone was chatting, suddenly one of them points out something and tells the others to take a look. Someone had just set a new record. Jovii had chosen Apius difficulty and managed to complete it 100%. Most of the other players, right, had done like 88%, 83% because they couldn't kill the final boss. People were impressed, but someone else quickly pointed out that guy, Xiaomingxuan, had entered a little while after Juyi. As soon as that guy finishes, Juyi's record is going to be gone, so it probably won't last long. But man, for Xiaomingxuan, things weren't going that smoothly. He shows up in the middle of the arena, completely wrecked, staff destroyed. Someone helps him up, and he says this level was way too hard. Even with gold equipment, he ended up losing it all. Then he notices some kind of commotion going on and wonders what it's about. He decides to ignore it and go take a potion while his friend in front starts talking about that guy who went in right before him. The second the guy says Jody completed the base level, he flinches. In his mind, a memory flashes, a glow appearing behind someone. He walks up, thinking there's no way a level 19 freshman finished it. He's sure the guy must have cheated and wants to find out how. But the moment he introduces himself as rank 86, our boy completely ignores him, saying he's got other things to take care of. The dude's just left standing there with a face while Jian comes up to congratulate our boy, saying that he really is incredible and that it's super hard to keep up with him. But Juyu pets her and tells her not to worry. He'll pass on all the tips so she can clear it easily too. Shimming Swan though, man, he's losing it over there. Or, actually, he seems totally dejected while his friend tries to console him. Obviously, everyone around is roasting him now, saying that the elite guy just got humiliated and even with all that gear, he's still starved. And when our boy said he was heading back to another dungeon, he wasn't joking, bro. There he is again with John. He's all cheerful, saying it's been a while since they worked together, while she's all flustered, remembering that day when he used the light punishment move and wiped everything out. She says she got cornered that time and almost didn't make it out alive. Our boy says it was an honor saving her. Sneaky guy, trying to get something or not. That succubus girl's gotta work too, my guy. Right then, the goblin horde shows up, and he starts giving her tips, saying to conserve energy since they are weak, but come in huge numbers. She thanks him and pulls out a big old sword while he activates his buffs. The first goblin rushes forward, and he says, "I'll handle this one." One hit. Classic hammer attack that slices instead of smashes. She's impressed. Thanks to his buffs, she felt like her strength had doubled. She charges in and lands a heavy slash. At least her sword slices too, not just crushes. She keeps farming easily, saying that with Dewey's buffs, this dungeon was a joke. They keep grinding, and before long, they are face to face with the boss. The creature gives its usual pre-fight speech while Jong asks how exactly he beat the abyss-level boss. He explains that the creature has super high physical resistance, but when it comes to magic, it's pretty weak. Right away, she gets ready, knowing that since magic is the key here, she's gonna have to bring out everyone's favorite bloodline, right guys? The succubus bloodline. Bam, she lands a clean cut. The attack hits the monster directly, and it responds that she really does have an impressive demonic power. Too bad, though. It still wasn't enough to take it down. I thought she was gonna go through that same badass transformation from the other day, but, actually, she's just there defending herself with her sword, apologizing. He tells her not to worry, that he's gonna use the same technique as before. He uses light punishment, but this time, the monster manages to defend itself. He's surprised, after all, he just killed this thing before and it was easy. So he says that, unfortunately, he's going to have to go all in now, because things have gotten out of hand. He launches an attack with his chain, but the boss tears through it. Now, Jang's panicking, saying it's all her fault, things got complicated, and she doesn't know what to do anymore. In the middle of all this panic and looking wonderful, something starts to awaken inside the girl man. A voice inside her says she's too weak. The badass bloodline starts wrapping around her, telling her that she's so useless. She can't even win with Zhu helping. If she really wants to help in this situation, she needs to use the true power she has. And then, bam, she seems to awaken something right at the moment the boss breaks free from the chains. It comes charging in to smash Zhu Yi, who says it looks like he's going to have to activate his own bloodline. But then, slash. A cup goes flying and slices off the boss's arm, bro. When our guy turns around, one of her badass wooden sandals comes flying too. He turns to see what the heck Zhongchu just did, while the boss is standing there with his arm up, bleeding everywhere. Guys, she awakened the artist's talent, I mean, the succubus talent, right? She's even talking in a little speech bubble with a heart in it, telling Zhao Yi not to worry. She's got this. The boss, poor thing, is already dealt with, flying on the ground bleeding. But from where the slash came, it looks like a curse is spraying across his body, and she just keeps evolving. Whoa, easy there, warrior queen. The monster rises in pain while she seems to be absorbing all of his demonic power, saying she won't stop until not a single drop remains. All we can do in a scene like this, man, is admire that panel the artist poured his soul into. Meanwhile, Zhu Yi is just like us, eyes wide open, staring, taking it all in. Then a voice from the dungeon congratulates her, and she earns 23,000 experience points. Bro, she's there with her hand over her mouth saying she finally killed that annoying boss, and Momo never wastes time with 35 minutes of still images. Okay. I dragged that scene out, but, hey, there's another panel that definitely deserves it. The girl is dangerous now, like a car crash, airbag straight to your face as she steps up to Zhu Yi, now only 2 centimeters away, wanting to know why he's not saying anything. And what's this? Her succubus tail just attacked. Our boy thought about stopping her, but too late. She's already grabbed his hand. He tries to pull back for a second, trying to explain himself, when suddenly, he activates his bloodline. He uses that calming buff to try to keep it together, and asks if she's really the Jianchu he knows. And that's when she catches the Chavez syndrome, bro. From 1 second to the next, she drops to the ground all shy. I think she realized what she was doing. Her power starts fading and she gets all awkward, apologizing, trying to explain that it was all because of the succubus bloodline. Our boy lifts her chin and says it's okay then. He thought she'd been possessed by a demon. This couple is complicated. When she wants it, he doesn't. When he wants it, she doesn't. He tells her to get up so they can get back to farming. That's because he's sure that once she gets used to the demonic power, she'll be able to handle all of this on her own. While he's thinking about the next steps, people outside are once again complaining about how hard the abyss level is. And once again, the message pops up that our boy broke the abyss record, the one he himself had already set. A little while later, another record. A few minutes later, another record from Zhu Yi and another from Jiang Chu. The poor folks watching are already holding their heads in disbelief. They say there's no way, there's just too big a gap between them and these geniuses. Once more, the poor Goblin King got taken out, this time by the combo of Zhu Yi's chains and Jiang Chu's attacks. And there she's already saying it looks like there's gonna be a fireworks show and asking if he wants to go watch it together. After all that farming, man, the poor guy's exhausted, so he says yes. In the streets of the elemental hall, lights are powered by magic. The couple's broke and just wandering around while Jiangchu thanks him for all the help he gave her today. She gained a ton of experience. He says he didn't do much. It was just a little push. Then they stop in front of the statue of Wei Yan, a mage who once stopped an entire legion of demons all by himself. In life, he was considered a deity. Our boy turns to her and asks if she knows anything more about the Dark Era and asks her to explain. She says that in the year 2544, tons of talented classes started appearing, and that period was considered a golden age. On the front lines, they had countless legendary heroes, and humanity was no longer at risk. But that's when the era known as the Dark Age began, and creatures started invading every corner of the world. Those considered the Golden Elite gave their lives to save the world and eventually took back the land, securing the peace people enjoy today. The problem is, if something like that were happen again, humanity might not survive, because we are no longer in that golden age full of legendary heroes. Jiayu places a hand on her head and tells her not to worry. The creatures showing up in the rifts aren't that strong. She smiles back saying she's sure everything will turn out fine. People are recovering and humanity is getting stronger by the day. That's when the fireworks start. And, of course, she grabs our boy's hand, pulling him to go watch. Oh, come on. All this little romance build up and nothing ever happens. I miss our Chen Yuan from A Perfect Life, bro. 2 chapters in and he was already playing League of Legends with the professor and the prettiest girl in the university. Sometime later, I think our boy's heading home. He's bummed that he doesn't have the professor's teleport skill. That's because he wants to get home fast to deliver the pill to his sister. But to be honest, it's been a few chapters now with that pill just sitting in his inventory at right. I don't think the urgency is all that serious. For some reason at home, his sister is drawn like a tiny little dwarf, wondering where her big brother is. Dr. King pats her head and says not to worry. He'll be here soon. Ah, and the door opens. And who's walking in? It's the Chad, full swag, saying he's back. She jumps up and hugs him and is impressed. Her condition seems to have improved. She's way more energetic. Bro, seriously, last I checked, wasn't this girl in a wheelchair? But whatever, man. The doctor's happy to see our boy again. He says it's been a while since he last saw his sister, King. She asks how long he's staying, and he says 3 or 4 days since the tournament ended. I'm so confused. Why is his sister so small now? Am I going crazy? In the early chapters, she was like shoulder height. Now she's there smiling with that little psycho face of hers, asking if he brought a gift for his cute little sister. First, he pulls out a horn that summons a gold-ranked ghost to protect her. She is all happy, and he pats her head, saying that once she's fully healed, she'll be as strong as him. Still can't accept how tiny they made her look now, but whenever. Then someone rings the doorbell, and our boy opens the door. That guy, the same one who gave him the house, says he brought the priestess Juyi requested. Wudongchu, who definitely has tons of healing stored up, says she came because of Secretary Zhao's request. Our boy thanks her and says he managed to get the pill. The secretary though is shocked, asking if he means the ice pill, which is extremely rare. He, a little embarrassed, says yes, but explains that later. First, he wants them to treat his sister. His sister, Man, is clinging to his shin. She's so tiny, asking if this is really going to work. He gives her the pill and tells her not to be nervous. All she has to do is take it, and her bloodline will awaken. Then she won't have to rely on him for everything anymore. Bro, did he just roast her or help her? What was that? Then he activates his aura and says he's gonna throw some buffs on everyone to help with the process. Off he goes. Blessing of protection, blessing of dawn, blessing of courage. Right away, his sister feels a strange power. Meanwhile, Madame Kui is stunned. She's a super high-level priestess, but not even her sacred power is that pure. He tells her to activate the formation, and she agrees. There's a little flourish with her hands and stretches her arm toward the sister, and boom, a pentagram forms under her feet. Then he gives the order for his sister to consume the pill, and she obeys immediately. A cold breeze starts coming out of her mouth and eyes, and a wave of energy spreads across the room. Is she finally gonna grow and get strong? Everyone in the room's freaking out, wondering if something's going wrong. But our boy says not to worry. He'll handle this. He enters her sacred form zone and starts buffing her to the max. He even forms some of his own frost energy, probably to support her somehow, and says this will be the last time she'll go through this process. After that, she'll have full control. She's wrapped in a blue orb, and Madam is right next to our boy, saying the hardest part is already over. Inside the orb, she looks like a ghost when suddenly she pulls a Kakashi headband move. Man. What, the laser beam explodes straight into the sky. Madame Chui immediately recognizes it as an extremely pure power. The awakening had probably finished. Our boy walks over to pat the little garden gnome and asks how she's feeling. All cute, she says she's sure the illness is gone. He praises her and tells her to check her stats, but she completely ignores him and instead summons a little blue bird, staying her talent, lets her control ice, not exactly a surprise. He replies that this already proves she has a really good bloodline. Then he starts thinking, he and she both have such strong bloodlines. Maybe they have some kind of insanely powerful ancestor. He asks Madame Chu to give his sister a quick check to make sure everything's 100%. The dude in the suit is already kissing up, saying that with this kind of evolution, they're gonna need even more resources and help make sure stuff gets delivered to both of them. Our boy thanks him and then thanks King Fei, the doctor who took care of her all this time. Then he asks his sister if she already has an idea of what class she wants to pick. She says, absolutely. She's going to be a mage. While she's striking a pose, he says, all right. When she hits level 10, he'll give her the class conversion book. Out of nowhere, she gets this kinda evil-looking expression and thanks him, saying that finally their power is going to be unleashed. Our boy's all shy while the other two look a little freaked out. Right away, my name Chu starts casting healing magic, asking if this girl's gone insane. Apparently, when they were younger, they used to play around talking about dark powers, saying that one day they'd awaken them. Now her boy's all bashful again and pulls her aside, telling her to stop talking nonsense. Madame Chu, though, standing off to the side, seems confused by the power she just displayed. Sometime later, his sister says she's not gonna hold back anymore, and he'd better get ready. She summons the ice spirit and orders it to freeze everything in her path. Then she points her finger and sends an attack flying towards Zuyi. But Big Bro Man just lifts his barrier and stands there, Sigma mode activated. Then he says that since she's recovered, it's time for her to start practicing. But suddenly, she starts pretending she's sick again, saying that unfortunately, the cursed eyes came back. And then he walks over with his power fully activated, and immediately she says she was just kidding. It didn't come back. Nope. Sometime later, the poor girl is exhausted from training. But Big Bro has a healing spell. I'm not gonna say anything inappropriate, man. Back off, sis. Come on now. You think I'm some kinda annoying weirdo? Our boy shows her grade, saying he's the little pet he contracted and is gonna stick around with them for the next few days. And now, suddenly, the girl's back to being 1.70 meters tall. Oh my god. But it's rough out here, artist. No. But don't fire this artist. Let him be. When Jane transforms, the dude goes off. Now the sister's rubbing it in his face, saying how cute Grey is, but, man, how is she suddenly to sing hide as him again? Oh my god. Let's just pretend none of that is happening. Now our boy's walking around the front of the academy. He's thanking Grey for the hard work he's been doing these past few days. What work exactly? I have no idea. But what I do know is that the dangerously hot giant professor is showing up and he wants to know what she's doing there. She immediately informs him that the national freshman competition is about to start and each team needs 5 people. And, of course, she's there because, obviously, he's being considered. Not just considered, he's gonna be the team leader for the freshmen and has to build whatever team he wants. She shows him a list with the top 10 strongest students in that competition, excluding him, of course. He had to pick 4 people from that list. And if our boy is truly the bravo, he'll pick 3 girls. He's not much of a thinker. He says, all right then. Just give him the top 4. That's it. Miss Su tells him to think just a little more. It's an important decision, especially since the competition is long and people with high stamina tend to perform better. But the humblest boy in China says not to worry. If the opponents lose quickly, he won't take long. He's already glowing up with Grey on his arm saying he's confident. There's no way he's losing this. The poor professor doesn't even know what to say. Last competition, he was light years ahead of the other students. Maybe he don't even need a healer since Yui has some healing skills himself. So she tells him that in that case, she'll pass in the formation. She then asks how his sister's awakening went, and he says it went perfectly and thanks her for the concern. She looks a little happy and then asks for the class conversion book. She asks why, and he says it's for his sister. He feels like more and more creatures are showing up and is starting to feel an urgent need to make her stronger. She smiles and says he really is quite the cautious one. But unfortunately, it's not something that's easy to buy. Then she turns and wishes him good luck in the competition. But sadly, she has to leave because she's got things to handle. The poor guy is furious. She dropped that line and didn't even say where he's supposed to get the damn book. That's when his system notification appears saying that to buy a class conversion book, he needs to be at level 25, complete in a rank mission, and reach top 10 in the Earth and Heavens ranking. He's panicking, man. Even the cheapest little book costs 20,000 points. It's not gonna be easy. But if he can manage it within half a year, that's good enough for him. Then the National Treasure mission appears for him. Obviously, the better his team performs, the better the rewards will be. Scene cuts to his school meeting. One guy says that Zhao Yi sent in the list of candidates and is going to announce the names. Right after the guy finishes talking, because let's be honest, I'm not gonna read 5 Chinese names none of y'all are gonna remember anyway. The chubby guy freaks out, wanting to know why there's no priest on the team. The red-haired guy says that's way too risky. One mistake, and they'd be eliminated. But the old guy says he doesn't think it's a problem. With Zhao healing abilities, that's more than enough to replace a priest. Of course, he can't say out loud that he's seen the boy's bloodline awakening and knows just how powerful he really is. Weirdly, the same chubby guy who is doubting now says, actually, yeah, Zhao has damage talent, tanking talent, support. Think he can handle it alone. The guy with glasses says that since there are no objections, it looks like they are just gonna trust that Zhao is gonna pull it off. The redhead sighs and says they'll have to count on the kid after all. The director declares it's settled. Then the old lady asks Master Wu from the House of Wu to handle their training. Even though they got great potential, they still need to practice as a team. The guy says it's no problem. He and Miss Su will handle all of that. Cut to our boy in his room doing push-ups with 200 on his back. To this day, he still does his daily training. Honestly, this guy's focused. For now, he's been choosing points as rewards to keep getting stronger. At least the man's self-aware enough to admit he's a busted protagonist. He literally says it's so easy to stay above everyone using this little system. Next scene, he and Wang Hui are looking around. Man. Our boy sees they are surrounded by a bunch of forest wolves, level 23. Wang explains that this private forest is a training ground his guild armlings. Suddenly, a dragon flies across the sky and all the wolves freak out. The creatures scatter, and our guy asks what that was. Wang says that's a legendary level 62 dragon, a magical pet of the senior who protects the forest. Our boy is still shook. If the pet is level 62, what's the master's level? Wang Hu replies that the senior is level 64, but his combat ability surpasses even that. That's why he handed over the TMU guild to the guy without hesitation. Zhao Yu's stunned that someone could be level 64 at 30 years old. That's truly insane. To be fair, ever since our guy hit level 19, it's been ridiculously hard to level up. So if this dude's already in his 30s and at level 64, yeah, he's the real deal. Then Wang Hui tells him to pay close attention. He's going to teach him a special skill. A beam of light shoots up into the sky. He activates Heart Shield. 2 giant walls appear, so huge I can't even really tell what's going on. I don't know what happened. Zhao Yi doesn't know what happened, but the whole forest got wiped clean. And the teacher says that's the first technique he's going to teach him, the Sacred Heart Shield. To learn the basics, he has to connect his consciousness to the skill book and use skill points. Now that we've got the skill description, I finally get how it works. 2 giant shields appear, one on each side, and slowly close in. Our boy unlocks the skill at level 1 and is curious how Wang Hai even has something like this. Wang explains that this specific technique was created by his master back when he was still a holy knight. He inherited it, and now he's passing it on to our boy. Then he tells him to give it a try and off he goes, activating Heart Shield. Of course, his shields are way smaller. He commands them to close in and boom, the explosion happens in front. The teacher praises him, saying it's amazing that he managed that much destruction with the skill at just level 1. He tells him to master it well, because this technique will be essential for team fights. Submit the dragon descends and lands right on one whose backs, saying that now that our boy's got the ability, it's time for a more practical lesson. The dragon, in fact, was going to command all the surrounding creatures to attack our boy, and the amount of EXP you get, obviously, right, would depend on how well he performs. The dragon lets out a roar, and all the creatures around start reacting. Trees start falling over immediately, and the first bite comes straight at Zhao Yi. But, of course, he hits back with the famous cutting hammer blow. As the monsters start closing in, he activates all his buffs. A stomp on the ground and boom. He's on the first monster's face, activates the ice power, explosions everywhere, hammers the head, chaos all around, man. Not long after, he's completely exhausted. Wan who congratulates him for going all out. He can't believe the boy used all of his mana and energy. What was he going to do if more monsters appeared? Our boy gave the obvious answer, you're here, bro. If I'm about to die, you'll help me. Right? Then chose a potion like a champ. That was rough, but farming EXP at this pace was awesome. And just because I said leveling up was hard, look at that. Dude hit level 22. He's here striking a Team Magazine pose, all seductive, talking about how he's gonna allocate points into that new ability he just got. Wang Hui praises him. He thought the kid would kill around 100 monsters, but it was over 400. Looking toward the horizon, he tells the boy that as a student, he'd better do well in that championship and keep up the confidence. Our boy says not to worry. He already guaranteed first place. Seeing switches to the Storm Forest at a rest base. Over the loudspeakers, it's announced the National Freshman Competition is about to begin. Over 280 schools are participating. Who's going to win? Two girls watching are already freaking out, wondering why Sime University showed up without a priest. Two more approach, saying that's because they got GE. Duh. Those ones believe in our boy. Seeing people talking trash online, saying he's gonna lose, they just laugh. Clearly, those folks don't know who they are dealing with. The thick-thighed samurai chick tells her friends to go fetch their orders while sipping a drink, saying she's shorted with that guy. Their victory is guaranteed. I think they are saying they because they are all from the same university. Meanwhile, our boy is wrecking those level 10 training robots again, man. Each day, it's getting easier. Problem is the easier it gets, the less it's helping him train. So he's gonna have to ask Professor Sue for help. The badass is calling him at that exact moment, saying their training is about to start, and he'd better come now. He's hyped, says he's excited to show everything he's been practicing. He heads toward a door, and on the other side, people are shouting, saying they can't wait for the match. When our boy walks in, it looks like it's the team he put together. Right, gang. The succubus, now a little calmer, walks up and says she's been waiting for him. Our boy greets the chief and Miss Sue, and then the guy says he'll introduce their new teammates. Another girl joins the team wearing high-rise undies and a shredded six-pack, a level 18 warrior named YETXI, who thanks him for the invite. Right next to her is a thick mage, level 18, named Tangling Case. Am I going crazy, or does she kinda remind you of his sister? Then the chief says he didn't expect our boy to have grown so much with Wang Hu's help. Their shock is already level 22. He says it's all thanks to the master support. Then the chief says he'll get straight to the point. To help them prepare for the national exam, he himself will be their training partner. Today, the focus would first be on team coordination and combo skills. After that, they form a party to challenge the Abyssal Goblin Dungeon. Man, he already did that one solo, did it again with the other girl. It's gonna be way too easy now. Tangling, see, the little blue mage, is all shy, saying she's only level 18. Now she gets why this place is gonna be kinda embarrassing for her. She's walking right beside him thinking there's basically no way she could lose in this dungeon with him around. Our boy notices her looking and throws out a cheeky smile. This dude's feeling himself. She is a little flustered and runs ahead, and he wonders if he's that ugly or something. Then they are teleported in, and our boy says, since it's our first time working together, let's go over a few tactics first. Ab's girl will focus on defense and drawing aggro. Jiangchu and Ling Zai will handle physical DPS, while he and Song Shilan stay in the back to support. Everyone says they got it, and the first goblins appear. They get ready. The creatures charge in, and Ab's girl steps right up, throwing down in a full-on brawl. A punch to the ground launches the goblins into the air, and she's stunned by how much energy from our boy's buffs is flowing into her. God's blessing, blessing of protection, dawn blessing, courage blessing. Tangling Cassie is blown away that he can cast so many buffs without even prepping anything. Even she, a trained mage, would struggle to keep up with that speed. The iceberg she summons starts distracting the goblins. Jiangchu takes the opening to slice right through them. Our boy tells everyone to watch out for precise attacks. An arrow flies in, but the tanker jumps in and blocks it. Looks like some different monsters showed up, probably because other challenges are active too. For Zuyi, this was perfect. More challenge means more growth. Light punishment blasts through the middle of the mob. He says to chill. He'll handle the ranged ones. The two girls thank him and Song Xiaolan says she can't slack off either. She fires off some talisman scrolls that stick to a goblin and explode the entire area. Outside, the director and Miss Su are watching. With this level of sync and power, this tournament was basically in the bag. Meanwhile, Miss Su can only comment that Zuyi just keeps growing non-stop. Yang Jiang alone already had multiple dungeon records. The boss says he knows that very well, which is why this time the dungeon difficulty has been cranked way up. Back inside, Jiangchu is struggling a bit, surrounded by a swarm of goblins, but she activates a shadow slash and clears them out. The talisman girl summons the 5 thunders of justice, while the ice mage unleashes a frost tornado. Come on. The buffed-up brawlers flying around punching, jump-kicking, roundhousing, going full NI. She's amazed at how insanely different everything feels thanks to our boy's buffs. Then Tangling comments that finally the goblins are done. But our boy warns, that was just the warm-up. Don't let your guard down. YTXI says not to worry with double the strength. She's got this. The girls all agree. It's easy mode with these buffs. But our boy, deep down, is wondering if he really picked the right team. Oh, come on, you rascal. Don't pretend. The second you saw it was 4 girls, you picked the top 4 immediately. Don't lie. Next scene, they are standing in front of the boss door. But this time, Juyi senses a different kind of energy. He has no choice but to move forward, so he opens the door. This time, it's the second Goblin King, level 25. He says, so the children have finally arrived. The girls are shaken. A level 25 legendary boss is way too much even for them. The boss says that since he knew guests were coming, he prepared a few presents. He raises his staff and starts charging up a massive fireball. Seeing that, the mage is already panicking at the amount of mana packed into that thing. She just stood there like an idiot, and YTX I had to jump in front to protect her. Problem is her shield got shattered. Even with double the strength, thanks to the captain, she didn't stand a chance against something like that. The boss says he's been preparing this place to be all their graves for a long time. Another fireball is launched, and this time, they had no way to defend against it. Of course, the chat shows up with full calm. Right? He activates his ice bloodline, bro, raises a massive shield. The mage, though, says to be careful. That's not your regular fireball. She draws in some of the boss's energy and realizes, yeah, his power is on a whole other level from the previous one. Songseer says it's time they go on the offensive. The boss gets surrounded by a bunch of talismans and she launches him into the sky. Man, explosion happens. But, of course, the creature just absorbs the flames and thanks her for the meal. Poor girl has no clue how one of her most powerful attacks did absolutely nothing. Tangling tries again, poor thing. She's got zero chance. Jiangchu, I think it's time to activate that succubus power. It's not easy out here, my warrior queen. How about you awaken that busted bloodline already? All the girls' attacks combine and fly toward the boss, but he slams his staff into the ground and raises a barrier. Then he charges up a mouth attack, fires off a laser in their direction. Tangling immediately realizes the level gap is way too big. Honestly, yeah, these girls are all level 18, and this guy is 25. But here comes a golden light blocking the attack. Our boy raised the shield and neutralized the boss's power. YTXI's fearless man says she's gonna fight him head on. But he just puts a hand on her shoulder and tells her to stay right there and be quiet. Dad's got this. Activating that ability that lets him read monster stats, he sees it. This boss is just one level higher, but has double the stats. This madman strikes a pose like he's doing a Team Magazine further shoot again, saying it's time to activate the secret bloodline to double his stats too. A sphere of energy appears and when it fades, boom, final form unleashed. Outside, Professor Sue is legit scared now, like anyone want a private lesson right now. She asks if this is really necessary and the guy with her explains they have extraordinary power. But, of course, so do the other universities. In this competition, only the geniuses survive. That's why they need to suffer now to have an easier time later. All right. Suddenly, she accepts that, says it makes sense if that's the case. Back in the dungeon, the boss says the kid can use any trick he wants. It won't make a difference. But Zuyi just starts prepping an energy sphere saying, as you wish. He combines his two bloodlines to unleash the radiant pulse attack. The energy shoots toward the boss, who sets up a shield, calls the boy arrogant. Now it's full on explosions, meteor showers, apocalyptic fireworks from the kids' bloodlines, just flashes and energy beams everywhere. Pillar of energy to the sky, the girls trying to shield themselves. Everyone's confused, like, what the hell is happening? Jian comments that not even she's ever seen this much power. He's clearly going all in. But the boss is still standing, saying it's no use, the boy can't win. And Zhao Yi just keeps walking forward, extends his hand, and the chain attack wraps around the monster. The things immobilized from head to toe, and from the ground, the lances of victory rise up. At the same moment, he triggers a firestorm, and the monster is trapped in a burning cyclone. Our boy's grinning, not over yet. Charges in, smashes the boss in the face, activates another ability. My god, how many more does this guy have? The poor boss is already apologizing, saying he wasn't strong enough to entertain the kid. Looking like a full-on One Punch Man episode now. Zhao Yi says he wanted to test this six-wing angel ability, but that will have to wait for next time. He stretches out his finger and says goodbye to the boss. Boom, fires one last shot at the creature. Outside, the university headmaster is already thinking he's the real monster. That creature was designed so that a full team of level 26 players would struggle with it. He then asks Miss Sue if she has the training data for the boy. She replies that yes, just today he cleared level 10 in 6 minutes and 12 seconds. The headmaster smiles and says, well, that explains it. He really is different. Look at that different right there, man. The little system handing him rewards again. And since the girls were part of the party, they all got EXP too. One run through this dungeon with our boy was worth more than a whole week of training. Zhao Yi finally powers down, gets 11,000 EXP. Someone comes running. It's Jiangchu, asking if he's hurt. Sadly, she still hasn't awakened her succumbus bloodline, to everyone's disappointment. They head over to the boss chest and the first items they get are a level 24 staff, a level 24 fire spirit shield, a level 24 magical fire ring. All of them were gold rank items worth a fortune. Our boy says it looks like they got lucky. He asks if the girls want them. But, well, poor things, they are all still level 18. They can't use this stuff. The ice mage. Yeah. A fire staff isn't gonna help. At the same time, neither our beloved succubus, nor the talisman girl can make use of the other gear. Our boy goes, "Oh, what a shame. Guess I'll just keep it all. Thanks, ladies." Kidding. He's humble. He says they'll put the gear up for school auction and then split the gold equally between them all. The buffed up girl protests, "No way. You should get at least 70%. You get everything." Song agrees, saying it would have been impossible without him, so he deserves the biggest share. But our boy insists splitting it evenly is better. That way, they won't have to stress about points for a while. And Jen reminds them, when it comes to points, this guy's never lacking. Humbly, he tells them to use those points to prep for the tournament. They were just going there to win, but to defend the school's honor. The girls thank him and promise to train hard. They'll give it their all. In the panel, the poor skinny ice mage looks like she got vacuum sealed into her outfit. With that, the mission ends. They reappear outside. The director shows up right away congratulating everyone. They truly exceeded expectations. He puts a hand on Zhao Yi's shoulder, saying, "You always surprise us." All shy, Zhao Yi says he just did what needed to be done. The guy asks if he's confident about getting first place. Zhao Yi says, yes. Then he smiles, saying he can't wait to see them become champions. Miss Su then explains the strategy. In the early rounds, they'll try to win without Zhao Yi using his bloodline. That way, the other teams won't know what he's capable of. When the right time comes, they'll catch the strongest opponents off guard by revealing his true strength. The director says that's the perfect strategy to catch people unprepared. That Miss Su says they still need to practice to improve their teamwork. With that, the day wraps up. He tells them to rest. But to keep their passion for training, they've prepared some disciplinary measures. Xiaoyu wants to know what that means, but Miss Su walks off saying, "It wouldn't be fun if you found out now." Our boy turns to the team and says they'd better keep practicing. As usual, near the dungeon entrance, there are still folks struggling, unable to clear it. But when Xiaoyu's group shows up, oh man, always walking in with an encourage. People are already recognizing them. Those are the freshman representatives. Problem is, they are shocked. Back when they were freshmen, the highest level person was level 19. But in this group, the lowest level is 20. Whoa. Looks like they've been leveling like crazy and no one even noticed. The others check the ranking list again and see that Xiaoyu's dungeon clear times just keep getting faster. Once again, inside the dungeon, the boss sends out another attack. But now, no one's afraid anymore. YT11 charges in and punches the boss in the face. She's confident, but the boss replies, "The weak will always be weak." The bit of progress she made wasn't nearly enough. The boss moves to crush her with a massive punch, but bam, a tiny but mighty fist from Zhao Yi shatters the boss's arm. He compliments them for blocking the first hit and says this time, it'll fight as a team. The girls agree while the boss is over there, armless and knowing he's doomed. Chains wrap up whatever's left, and our boy says, now this monster is gonna learn what it means to scream. Song Xiaolang covers him in talismans. Tang Ling throws out an ice tornado. Jiang slashes in with a clean sword strike, decapitating the boss. The creature drops and boom, new record broken. The director appears again, congratulating them for finishing in under 9 minutes. Our boy wants to know why the guy's even there. He explains that the first tournament match has been scheduled. It'll happen in 1 week. Time to begin true preparation. The girls are pumped. Finally, it's starting. They've been training all this time for this moment. Now it's time to reap the rewards after running this dungeon a million times. Zhao Yi though, man's sick of it. He can't stand killing the same goblin one more time. Then the principal says is going to take everyone through the school's secure teleport. They were going straight to the place where the competition would take place. When they arrive, our boy's master and all the red-haired guys are there giving them a warm welcome. Wang Hu thanks everyone for coming and tells the students they'll have to carry the school's glory on their shoulders. But, man, to be honest, he admits they've already won this thing 4 times in a row. Could have made a school that loses once in a while, right? But then again, that would make sense since our boy is the main character. How could he be in a weak school? Yeah, tough one. You're forgiven, little author. That's a complicated mistake. The little harem team all put their hands to their chest and say, you could count on us. Wang Hui tells the old man to prep the teleport and he activates it right away. The crystal lights up, the portal is open, and with that, Ang wishes everyone a safe journey. They all start to vanish and seconds later, they are already at Qingjing University. Our boy is impressed by how fast it was. Poor dude probably doesn't even know how teleportation works. Man, they even brought our huge professor lady to give the boy some moral support. Then someone shows up to welcome the Sukang students to Qingjing University. His name is Yan Chun and is an awakened mechanic from this place who says it's an honor to have them there. The head of our boy's university recognizes him, shakes his hand and asks how he's doing. Yongchun says he's good, then adds that the team they brought this time doesn't look half bad. Definitely not bad if it's a harem competition, buddy. Our boy right there surrounded by 4 badass girls. He says is looking forward to the competition, then turns to our boy and the big professor, saying he has a few announcements. After a whole month training in dungeons, they had reached the peak of coordination. In the coming days, they wouldn't be practicing anymore. Instead, they walk around, learn how the different races mix, and see what's going on out there. Humanity is strong, but there are countless other races that also have their own geniuses. That was the message. They were dismissed and told to be careful. Later on in the little apartment where our boy would be staying, the robot greets him. Apparently, our guy had been leveling up but wasn't even using his points. He's already at level 23, but most of his skills are still in grade C and B. He wants to reach his second awakening already, because then everything would go up to B+, including one more skill called Apocalypse Duel. Obviously, all that is still far off, so for now, he'll just focus on gaining experience and doing well in the tournament. Sometime later, they are watching fireworks together to celebrate the start of the competition. The first to show up, are the legends from Sukang, and the whole crowd is cheering. Our hillbilly boy is amazed by how big the audience is, and Jiang says it's gonna be twice as big once the fights actually start. Oh boy, they are already introducing Sukang's first opponent. The guys from Romyang University are coming in, and just from the dumb looks on their faces, you can tell they are only there to get beat down. They are giving the usual speech about how there's no need to be afraid, since these guys always win. But today, they are gonna fall. But, man, just from the way the artist didn't bother giving the guy even a single earring, you already know he's about to get wrecked. The crowd notices that the only guy on their team is level 23, which obviously means something's off. This is supposed to be a freshman competition. The badly drawn characters are thinking that even if he's level 23, this competition is based on overall team strength. I thought today was just gonna be fireworks, man, but nope. The tournament's actually starting. The Ron Young guys are already trying to go and using buffs and all, but the red-haired one tells them to wait. For now, they'd focus on defense until they figure out what the opponents were planning. But, man, judging by his eye with the cross, you already know what's coming. I thought it was gonna be some bomb from our boy, but actually, he's just buffing all the girls around him like a boss. I love that image, you're looking badass in the middle of your hair, my guy. In the audience, everyone is shocked because, obviously, he just buffed the entire team with a flick of a hand. Young Chen asks if he's really seen what he thinks is seen. It looked like everyone's strength had nearly doubled. The head of Sukang says that's the power of the secret class, the Holy Knight. Now the guy finally gets it. Right? It's not gonna be easy. Once again, they won't stand a chance this year. If anyone has to face this Suyi, they'll have to take him out before he buffs the whole team. But for Romyang University, had no clue what was happening. Poor guys, they weren't going to survive. The Romyang guys, poor things, are already dropping their swords and asking their captain what to do. At least the captain has some perseverance. He says he can block them. Then Zuyi tells his harem that since the enemies look weak, the plan is for everyone to attack and break their defenses without revealing too much strategy. Man, our busty mage, Tanglin, said, he suddenly starts casting fire spells. She's probably using that staff and choosing her weakest magic on purpose to not give away anything important. Even so, the enemy captain is struggling to raise his shield and block it. At least he's there, acting kind of confident, saying that if this is the extent of their power, he can win. Then Wei Tai, the tank comes in to throw a punch and breaks the guy's shield, at the same time that our favorite succubus lands a direct hit on him. Yep, man. 2 seconds later and the guys are already laid out on the floor. Tanglin already says that was kind of disappointing and too easy. The team walks off and Song says she didn't even get the chance to use any magic. That fight was terrible. Our boy tells them to chill. Probably only Modi University and Qingjing University would be real challengers. Poor Yan Chun is there trying to figure out what kind of training created these little monsters. The captain laughs and says there's no training for that. What they can do today is the result of their own effort and natural talent. Poor Yan Chun just walks off saying he's gonna try to come up with some strategies and they'll talk later. A while later, the leader tells the group that they have no more fights today, so they can rest. Su Mago says there will be matches from other universities and it would be good to at least watch the stronger ones. Then the captain tells our boy to sign up for the individual competition too. He wasn't automatically registered, right? Since usually healers don't sign up after all, how are they gonna fight alone? They just get beat up and heal themselves. Then all the girls on the team say they're gonna join too. Some are excited, while the little mage in the back is kind of unsure, but she agrees. The guy laughs and says it's settled. Then back in the arena, the one-on-one matches were about to start. The succubus is number 27, and Song is number 45. Our boy, though, is number 6 and will face a swordsman. But in the crowd, people are confused. How's a holy knight gonna take part in a one-on-one fight? Oh, they don't know her harem king, boys. The first chump steps up to get wrecked. A swordsman from Young University, level 18. Boring hair, plain outfit, no earrings, no tattoos, he's gonna get folded easily. Even the guy's own teammates are doubting him, especially since our boy is from Ken University. He raises his sword, activates some fire magic, and I'll admit, he's got a little bit of swag. He says if our boy surrenders, he'll lose with more dignity. But Zui, as humble as always, says if the guy manages to breathe 10 times during this fight, he'll be impressed. Before the dude can even reply, bam, he launches an attack. Zhao Yi dodges it, and the guy's already confused. When he tries to lift his foot to block, it's already frozen. And when he looks forward, the hit's already coming. He eats up his foot with fire to break free and throws another sword slash. But, man, Zui punches the sword, breaks the blade, lands a hit on his ribs, slams him into the wall, and the other students already realize, right, they don't stand a chance. At that point, the old man from that guy's university already says that you really can't underestimate anyone from Sakang. And, of course, the robot gives the signal. The guy couldn't continue the fight, so the winner was Zuyi. In the crowd, people are trying to figure out why a knight, who was clearly focused on buffing, managed to finish the opponent with just one punch. That pink-haired girl, her name is Zuyi. And since our boy is Zuyi, to avoid confusion, let's give her another name. How about Rosalia or Rosalia? You know, since she's pink, that works. And she's saying she spent some time at King Jin University, and our boy has improved a lot since she last saw him. But honestly, I don't remember this crazy chick. Oh, Yan-chan says our boy almost became a student at their university. Probably that girl from the beginning who took him up to the skies to bring him to her school, tried to kiss him too. She's wild, acting all holy like a saintly nun, but don't be fooled. Shulan, that huge green-haired one, also says she misses him and that is a special kid, another girl who's impressed. That other one's name is Shubai, and she notices it seemed like he had a bloodline. Apparently, she has an ice bloodline too, and it looked like hers was kind of resonating with his. Shulan asks what's going on, and Xiaobai hides her arm, saying it's nothing. Then she walks off, saying she has some things to take care of, and they'll talk later. We then see someone receiving a call from Xiaobai. A blue gear guy answers and asks if today isn't the day of the competition. So why is she calling now? Hainan tells his father that he found someone with an awakened ice bloodline and his name is Zuyu. According to her detection, the purity level was over 70%. The guy is confused asking if that's true. That level of purity was extremely rare. She says she's sure, and maybe if she gets closer, she can confirm an even higher number. The guy says, okay. He'll keep an eye on this Juyi. While looking at his reflection, he says maybe this kid could be the one to save him. Back in the arena, the whole crowd is chanting Juyi's name. The next group about to fight is super confident. The leader tells them not to underestimate the kid just because he's a healer. He senses an imminent danger coming from him. That guy in the blue jacket replies like, all right, chill. He's got a bit of swag, summoning machines and gears and stuff. That puffed up girl on the right says she hopes Zhao Yi doesn't cry from how bad he's gonna get beat. Poor girl. Right? Her team leader's about to be humiliated and the crowd's all hyped. Looks like the girl's dad has already arrived at the competition, teleported in. Wait, hold up, the dad's here, the mom's here, the whole family showed up. Yeah, it's obvious. They are probably trying to use our boy to heal someone's bloodline. Right? The dad says they are here to watch Zuyi. But the little girl with the cap says she has nothing to learn from a support class guy like a holy knight. The mom though tells her to pay close attention because he has an ice bloodline with over 70% purity. The girl, shocked, asks how that's possible. As far as she knows in their family, the strongest person only have 40%. The dad tells her not to tarnish the family's reputation by saying that about her brother. Then the mom tells her to focus on the match. The robot makes the announcement our boy steps into the arena and this guy named Lake Sin shows up. He says he originally planned to end our boy with an instant kill. Jabai is ignoring everything he's saying while activating his power to get a read on him and realizes this guy should be underestimated. Still, the guy is level 18. Our boy is just being humble saying that. He's saying all that, but at the same time, he's thinking that he can't show his full power because tomorrow he's fighting against Manhwa University. The countdown begins and as soon as it hits 0, our boy immediately activates the blessing of protection. The guy takes advantage of that moment, saying he's not giving Juyi a chance to buff himself and runs in to land a big kick. But our boy busts out some Muay Thai man, lifts his shin, and blocks the first kick, then retaliates with an elbow right to the mouth. The guy's actually kinda tough. Look at that. He didn't die in one hit. Oh, wait. Nope. Never mind. He got launched far and exploded against the wall. Okay. He's still alive, folks. Not in good shape, but is standing. He just can't understand how a holy knight has better fighting skills than him. Zuya tells him he's misunderstanding things. He's not that good. It was just a lucky hit, just a bit stronger than normal. But then he charges in and hits him with a JoJo-style combo. The poor guy is trying to block, but his entire armor starts breaking apart. Juyi comes in with a punch to finish the fight. The dude sees One Punch Man charging at him, throws his arms up and says he surrenders. Just in time, our boy shifts the direction of the punch so he doesn't accidentally kill the guy, ends up slamming his fist into the ground and exploding the floor. Even so, just from the shockwave, the poor guy gets launched like trash straight into the pavement. China's most humble boy is just standing there thinking how hard it is to hide the strength he has, while the other competitors still can't accept that a holy knight could have this much combat power. Kyoryu, being a sweetheart man, goes over to his opponent and heals the guy. The nurses were arriving and he tells them he already patched the guy a little to save them some work. One of them thanks him, but after looking at the wrecked guy, she actually feels bad for him. She knew the fights would be rough, but that guy on the floor took way more than she expected. Then the blue-haired mom tells her daughter to take a look. That boy surpassed any genius in their family. The dad is analyzing it, saying that sending a fully armored opponent flying that far just with a punch, no weapon or anything, is insane. Meanwhile, the girl is all red-faced but admits it, he really is strong. So dad says that since she's admitted it, he's going to ask the mom to set up a meeting so they can talk with Juyi. Meanwhile, our boy is thinking that our beloved Jong is going to win easily. Some girl from Modu University is getting wrecked because, you know, she's going up against our favorite. Girl, it's been a while since you awakened that bloodline. We are about to go through some tough moments so we can unlock a powerful ability later. But for now, that poor girl from Modu is just getting demolished by the shadow slash. The artist man drew like 80% of the panel as just her thighs before she hits the ground defeated. Yeah, man. Jang's already moving on to the 4th round. Everyone's impressed with the white-haired girl. Look at the little couple walking around. He's praising her and she's saying she got lucky because her opponent was weak. Then she adds that if she ends up facing our boy, she's surrendering on the spot, she's got no chance. But he tells her he wouldn't hit her. Suddenly, the blue-haired girl comes running toward our boy. That's when I realize this is the girl who made the phone call earlier, so she's not the mom, folks. She's the older sister of that little girl. Jovi asks what's going on and she says she noticed that he has an extremely pure ice bloodline. She says her family name is Zhao, and Jiang immediately points out that this is one of the ancient clans, just like the Jiang family she's from. They've been around for centuries and can't be underestimated. The only problem is it seems like fewer and fewer members of their clan have been awakening the bloodline, and even the purity percentage has been dropping. The poor girl gets a bit embarrassed and says it's true. The girl seems to suggest that our boy is part of her family somehow. He's understandably confused, asking, "How do you know I'm part of your family, you crazy girl?" She pulls out a stone that her father brought. It allows them to analyze someone's bloodline and determine if they belong to the Zhao family. The mad lad just decides to go along with it and takes the test. His bloodline purity shows up as over 90%, and even Zhao Yi admits he feels a strong connection between their bloodlines. Right away, the girl says her father wants to meet him as soon as possible, and our boy agrees. Everything's going a little too smoothly, kinda sus. He waves goodbye to Zhong, who before leaving, reminds him that her family is much more powerful than the Zhao family. Later on in the girl's room, the mood's kinda romantic. Look at that sunlight coming in on the two of them. But Zhao Yi is deep in thought. He's thinking that, yeah, he has this so-called bloodline, but these people never helped when it came to his sister. Now that they found out he has talent, suddenly they want to talk. He doesn't really know how to feel about it. Suddenly, the door opens and her father walks in. The man introduces himself as Zhao Heng. He shakes his hand and says he's heard that Zhao Yi seems to be quite an extraordinary person. It's amazing to see someone with such pure bloodline. Hoof, the guy gives him that evil-looking smile and a little cough. You already know some shady stuff is coming. He says that Zhao father and his own came from the same grandfather or great-grandfather, something like that. Zhao Yi responds with the obvious, but cuts him off, saying all that is in the past. The man then makes an offer. If Zhao Yi rejoined the Zhao clan, he'd get all the resources needed to train his ice abilities. His third awakening would come super fast and he even receive a secret class. Zhao Yu is confused and says that he's already awakened the Holy Knight class. So what exactly would happen? Zhao Heng explains that there are ways he could forget about the Holy Knight stuff and focus on the ice abilities. With his purity, he could show the true power of that bloodline. But our boy remembers the angel, right? The one who first appeared to him, and ever since then, he's been getting stronger fast. There's no way he'd just give up something that major. Obviously, the Holy Knight is a big deal, folks. So he asked the old man if he'll still get any support from the family if he doesn't change classes. The guy says yes, but not to worry. They had every book on the ice class available. Zhao Yi thanks him and says it's a good offer, but he refuses. The dad is already flaring up with aura, confused, saying it doesn't make sense. Once Zhao Yi changed classes and focused on ice, he become truly exceptional. That's when our boy also activates his aura man and says he's already getting plenty of resources from the university. Besides, he's not that worried about the ice bloodline. He's focused on evolving as a holy knight. The dad, however, tells him to think again. The holy knight is a support class and would never deal as much damage as an ice mage. Our protagonist did not like hearing his class called support and says tomorrow he'll show them all the true strength he holds. He says goodbye to both the dad and daughter, telling them they'll see each other in the arena. The daughter then asks her dad why he didn't try harder to get Zhao Yi to stay longer. He replies that soon enough, the boy will understand the limits of being a holy knight. When he faces the raw power of damage dealers from other universities, he'll see the difference. At that moment, the younger daughter shows up and tells her father to stop chasing after this Zhao Yi. He's not even that important. The father says he'll explain it to her. The greatest ancestor of the Zhao family was the first person to awaken the bloodline and was someone incredibly powerful. Because of him, the Zhao family stayed at the top among the elite for many years. But when the dark times came, countless members died. Ever since then, the Zhao family has only been awakening people with much lower talent. The bloodline they carry today is considered cursed, and with each generation, it gets weaker. That's why, if they had someone like Zhao Yi around, everything would completely change. But for now, they didn't need to worry. At this moment, the boy was blinded by a streak of victories. Soon, he face a harsh defeat and understand why he needs their help. The younger girl asks what happens if Zhao Yi wins. The sister immediately tells her not to say that, especially because she's the one who'll be fighting him. And now, we're back in the arena, and apparently, it's hard to get tickets. Zhao Yu's fights are the ones drawing the biggest crowds. The sister is there in the stands, and the artist clearly spent a few extra hours drawing those legs. With that, Sehang's group is announced. Our boy casually swings his hand to the side and pulls out his cleaving hammer. Everyone's tense. This is the first time they are seeing him use a weapon. And, of course, that clown of a dad already noticed. He seems way stronger than before. Maybe he had been hiding some of his power. A guy steps forward, he's level 22 and named Lai Yuan, and says there's no way Zhao Yi can win using a support class. Man, he's up against an archer and a priestess. It's a shame, but those fine ladies are gonna have to get smacked. In the background, there's even a group that has a bit of squab. That guy on the left, the artist must have spent at least 5 minutes drawing him. Maybe he'll do something. The captain says they only narrowly lost last year. But today, things would be different. He plants his sword in the ground and tells his team to go all out even if it means risking the opponent's life. In the crowd, Yong Chun is asking if they really think the kid can handle healing, buffing, and fighting all at once. But Sehang's leader just says not to worry. He trusts the boy's strength. The glasses guy is getting suspicious. Maybe the kid really does have another card up his sleeve. Then our boy tells Jiang they are going with the school training plan. He charged in first and it followed behind, cleaning up whatever was left. And well, if that's the plan, I don't think there's gonna be much left. Poor Wei Tishi is standing there thinking she's gonna land some punches. Our boy tells the harem that if any of them get even a tiny scratch, just stay close and help toss out a warm heal. The robot announces the start of the match, and Zhao Yi charges in, already activating all his buffs. People think it's crazy for a healer to go in alone, and, of course, the guy from the other university is freaking out. The big archer is getting ready. She knocks 3 arrows and fires a barrage. She's using a skill called suffocating arrows, which pierce the target and are impossible to dodge. But our boy already dodged 2 of them, and now 3 more are coming straight for his head. Instead of dodging, my dude catches one mid-air and smacks the others out of the sky with his hammer. The poor girl is confused. He just blocked her entire attack with his hands. The enemy captain says it's interesting how he fights, but once their mage finishes casting his spell, things are going to change. Right then, the mage finishes, flames start appearing, and a phoenix forms in front of Zhu Yi, breathing fire toward him. He easily dodges the first blast. The guy throws out another right after. But even as the massive barrage comes his way, Zhu Yi doesn't look even a little shaken. In the crowd, everyone knows he's about to try and tank the attack. That's insane. This spell was an ultimate. Rosalina sitting close by says that if he were smart, he'd dodge it. With the speed he has, he'd find an opening soon enough. He kept dodging. But Miss Su, sitting next to her, just chuckles. Rosalie asks what's going on, and Su Mai says she clearly doesn't know Zhao Yi if she thinks he'd run away from an ultimate skill. The full response that Su Mai's expression will change when the boy loses, but Miss Su says she doesn't think that's going to happen. Back in the arena, a golden barrier could be seen, and now it's getting confusing. It was the famous pillar of light shooting toward the heavens. Man, our boy had just activated the sacred flame bloodline. That alone was probably enough to wipe these guys out. Imagine if he used the six-winged angel one. The mage, poor guy, I know he's got some kind of hedge ear that's supposed to show he's strong. But come on, man, you don't stand a chance. He's trying to strengthen his phoenix, but nothing's happening. Meanwhile, our boys' fangirls are hyping him up, saying the poor dude just didn't know the captain's real strength. Then our boy absorbs all the phoenix's flames, holds them in his hand, and apologizes for doing that. Unfortunately, his sacred flame allowed him to control any type of fire. The crowd is stunned while Rosalie realizes that this sacred flame is a divine ability. The strange part is even people who've gone through a third awakening didn't have anything like that. Tsume says maybe he's just a lucky kid. Geniuses often get handed opportunity after opportunity, but Rosalie is still confident, saying they still got an ace up their sleeve to win this. The blue-haired girl, Zhao Heng's daughter, is sitting there wondering why everyone is so hyped about this divine skill. Her dad explains that a power like this can't be learned from any book. The only way to receive it is by being chosen by a deity, just like how the Zhao family was chosen by the ice goddess. They've always worshipped her and received her blessings. Now the poor guy's devastated. He finally understands why Zhao Yi didn't care about the skill they were offering. He had already been blessed by a goddess, which meant his potential was immeasurable. The daughter says it looks like they came here for nothing. But her father says no. After the battle, they'll try to talk to Zhu Yi. They can't just give up on their only hope to revive the family so easily. Meanwhile, in the arena, the mage is still trying to understand what happened to his phoenix. His teammate puts a hand on his shoulder and tells him not to give up so easily. If Zhu Yi was good with fire, they just try another element. Besides, this time he makes sure Zhu Yi couldn't dodge his blade. The sexy archer lets loose 3 more arrows while the mage raises a stone barrier. Our boy just stands there, letting everything come his way calmly, asking if they really think hitting him with everything at once is gonna make a difference. That's when he uses the ability he learned from Wang Hu to raise his shield. The poor girls on the other team are starting to get impressed instead of focusing on the fight. Then Zhao Yu says it's time he shows them he's got long-range attacks too. Before the mage can even shout for everyone to fall back, boom. A fireball explodes in front of him and a pillar of flames shoots up. The poor archer manages to roll out of the way, but she knows if that fire had hit her, she wouldn't evaporated on the spot. That's when the knight asks where their mage went. The mage, poor guy, thought he could tank the attack and just use a barrier to protect himself. But Zhu stretches out his hand and says he's giving back all the flames he stole from the phoenix. The guy's shield shatters and is completely incinerated. His staff breaks and is left there, smoking on the ground. Man Zhu Yi is out for blood. He says it looks like this fight still isn't over. Right then, the enemy captain says it's time for them to all go in. And our boy is already charging forward, swinging his cleaving hammer. And to this day, that hammer that cuts still makes 0 sense to me. The captain's shield is knocked away, and though he stays on his feet, he now realizes Zhao Yi's strength is way higher than he had ever shown. But, man, the captain's not backing down. He slashes forward, saying he's not weak. Zhao Yi just smacks the attack away with his hammer like it's nothing. That was one of the captain's golden moves to farm level 20 monsters. How did it get blocked so easily? He decides to charge again, but this time with a physical attack. Zhao Yi says that apparently the guy needs to come face to face to really understand the difference in their strength. They clash for the first time. Zhu comments that it's expected for a captain to withstand an initial blow. But, man, just looking at the captain's expression as he's trying to tank those hammer strikes, it ain't easy. His sword flies out of his hand, and Zhu Yi is already on top of him. Just as is about to land another hit, something blocks the attack. At the same time, a red light flashes from behind. It looked like some kind of electric bee or something. Zhao Yi manages to raise a barrier if the shield gets broken. Still, he takes advantage of the monster bouncing off his shield to finish it off on the spot. The enemy captain turns to that guy, Xiao Zhuan, and thanks him for saving him. Suddenly, that stylish dude speaks up, the one who's been hiding his true power since the beginning. But this boy, Zhu Yi, went too far thinking he could beat them all alone. The guy starts summoning his whole arsenal, little robots, bees, tanks, you name it. Okay, I'll admit it. The guy's got swag. I told you all he might do something. Zhao Yi's impressed that the kid's only level 19, but his robots are all level 21 or 22. In the crowd, the head of Ken University says now he gets what the ace in the hole was. Yun Chen reveals that this kid has an S+ talent in mechanics. Anything he creates ends up being higher level than him. One of Zhu Yi's fanboys says that's really impressive. Now he's excited to see which talent will come out on top. Zhu Yi smiles and says it's interesting that he summoned a whole army of mechanical monsters, but it's a shame. He's been constantly training against things like that. Wang Zhuan stretches out his hand and orders the army to attack. Torpedoes start firing, barriers go up, and a full-blown barrage comes flying our boy. He activates his twin shields and seems to block it all with ease. Then he slams both shields together and crushes a good chunk of the robots. At the same time, a golden light flares behind him and he unleashes a sacred area explosion. The robots start evaporating, exploding one after another. Wang Zhuan, poor guy, is practically crying. He says he used all sorts of bulletproof materials, but even that wasn't enough. He pulls out a virtual keyboard and says it's fine. He's still got something more. He summons another army and says that this time, Zhu Ye has no chance. Finally, the girls jump in to help, breaking through one of the robots. While our boy glances at his system screen, thinking they arrived at the perfect time. Once again, a vortex of fire surrounds one of the robots, and when the guy tries to call for a retreat, it's too late. Everything gets vaporized. In 1 second, he loses connection with 74 robots. He'd already lost a third of everything he could build, so he decides to go all in, summoning the Judgment Artrux, a huge mech that appears behind him. This monster is a kind of giant dragon that starts firing hooks, grabbing the other creatures and absorbing them. With that, the summon powers up to max size and max defense. In the stands, everyone's being covered by the shadow of this Megazura the guy just pulled out, a legendary rank creature, level 23. There's a girl in a blue skirt who's super impressed. But honestly, I don't remember who that crazy chick is. Meanwhile, the captain of the enemy team is just stunned, saying your ultimate card has finally been played. He squints over at Jiang and mutters that at this point, they don't stand a chance. But Jiang doesn't even blink. She charges forward, shouting that her big bro's not going down. Inside the giant robot, Wang Zhuan yells for Zhu Yi to face the power of judgment. The first barrage of missiles is launched, but as always, our boy's standing there, calm as ever. As the attack's about to hit, he dodges the first wave. But then he glances back, he didn't realize they were coming straight for his head. The slick little guy used a technique like dash here, dash there, and made the missiles crash into each other. Wang Zhuan starts losing it, yelling for him to stop running and face the firepower head-on. Another wave of missiles is launched, but Zhu just starts spinning his hammer, swatting everything down. Then the robot pulls the sword from its back and unleashes a slash that rips through half the arena. They even mocks him, asking if all Zhu Yi can do is run away. To him, Sukang University was full of cowards. Zhao Yi replies, all right then, and says he'll charge in. But that was all part of Wang Zhuan's trap to lure him into an ambush. If a guy with no self-control like that was the captain, they were definitely gonna win. Wang Zhuan swings his sword again, and our boy meets him with a hammer. The attacks clash, sending the mech's arm flying. At that moment, Zhao Li activates God's hand, forming a golden vortex above the robot. Even the cameras recording the match start to lose power, saying their energy is being drained. More drones are deployed to keep filming it in real time. The vortex keeps drawing in energy from everyone around, while our favorite succubus is in the middle of the fight herself. She runs over to Tang and says they better get out of there. Song and Wei Tai look at each other and realize, yeah, it's time to bounce, man. They start retreating, and the enemy team thinks they are scared. But when they stop and look up, they realize this power is not normal. Out of nowhere, a literal hand of a god descends from the heavens. Had he used this power before? I don't think so. Right? This might be something new. The crowd's confused. Wang Zhuan has no idea how he's gonna block that. Even though there was only one tier above his robot, the gap in power was massive. Still, the kid goes nuts again, shouting he's not afraid to die. He puts his robot into extreme mode and the sword starts spinning, glowing purple. The hand's coming down and is just going wild, screaming upward. He fires off a rapid combo of slashes toward the hand. They seem to land, maybe. But when he looks again, boom, the hand's already come down and flatten the entire arena. The crowd shield their eyes as Zhu Yi comes in kicking. Poor Wang Huan's lying there like a half-crushed bug. The girls on his team are already realizing it. They all just got destroyed, and our boy, now even a scratch, didn't even have to hit the girls. A true knight through and through. Wang Zhuan is there, barely conscious, muttering Zhu Yi's name before passing out. Obviously, the fanboys go wild, screaming his name in the stands. The team walks out of the arena, calm and collected. Young Chen knows it now. There was never a chance they could win. Even with their secret weapon prepared, there was no way to expect a monster like Zhu Yi. He quietly exits, admitting that this year, the Kang House really brought top-tier competitors. Honestly, it looks like it's the 5th year in a row Kang is gonna take the championship. This pattern's been repeating for a while. The headmaster laughs and the crowd celebrates. Meanwhile, our boy is walking out, surrounded as always. The girls are saying that match was way too easy. Jian notes there's way more people watching than last year. With this fight being broadcast, Zhu Yi's name was sure to spread to the 4 corners of the world. Up above, a blonde girl is watching from a high platform, saying that Zhu Yi isn't bad at all. Looks like she's got her eye on him, saying he might be exactly what her guild needs. But the guy in the suit behind her says that in order to enter their guild, even the weakest members are at least level 30. So this kid, not qualified. She makes a peculiar hand gesture, saying all they had to do is train the boy, and even if the guild master didn't accept him now, eventually, it would all be worth it. Sooner or later, that little boy would belong to her. Finally, the kind of villain our boy has no chance of defeating, if you know what I mean. Meanwhile, in a nearby hospital, there's a swarm of doctors rushing in to try and save Wang Zhuan. Well, doctors, right. It's really just a bunch of healers blasting him with every healing spell they've got. Everyone's saying that damn Zuyi took the fight way too seriously and almost killed the poor guy. If it weren't for the arena's protective magic barrier, he wouldn't even be alive right now. The staff apologizes to their leader, who just says there's nothing they can do. Zuyi was simply too strong. Looks like this time, they'll have to settle for third place. One of the team members is confused, saying, why? We can still beat the Modu clan. But the leader reminds him, without Wang Zhuan, they don't stand a chance. And now he doesn't have any of his robots left. Lying on the stretcher, Wang Zhuan's crying, saying that once he reaches his second awakening and gets the S+ rank mechanical heart, he's going to win. Back to the delusional dad, he's now apologizing to our boy, saying he misjudged the power of a holy knight. He never imagined someone could have so much strength, healing, and damage all at once. But Zuyiva isn't in the mood for chit-chat and tells him to get to the point. So if the man says he spoke with the elders of the family, and if Zuyi came back to them, he wouldn't just get support from his branch, but from the entire Zhao family, including the Zhao elders, that was powerful of them all. Under normal circumstances, such an offer would never be made. But with our boy's potential, they agreed. Now Juyu starts thinking, maybe it's not such a bad option. The only problem is leveling up with Wang Hui had been amazing. That guy helped him rake in tons of XP. So he tells the guy it's a shame to disappoint him. He has zero interest in switching classes. The guy looks crushed, asking if the Shao family really has no hope of reaching glory again. He's over there banging his head against the wall, so Zuyi says he does know someone with an extremely pure ice bloodline. Maybe she'd be willing to join, but the guy says it can't be just anyone. It has to be someone with an insanely high purity, like Juyi himself. Then our boy straight up starts selling out his sister, saying her purity is 3 times higher than average. Suddenly, guy's face completely changes. Now he's all happy, asking if that's really true. Jovi just nods and the man starts jumping with joy, shouting that finally, the ancestors would be proud again. Our boy tells him to calm down a bit. He hasn't even talked to his sister about it yet, so it's not like she's accepted anything. Still, it would be the best choice for her, at least. Zuyi doesn't care much because he already has the system and Wang Hu's help. But for her, it'd be a whole different story. She gained access to tons of resources. So he calls her and she picks up with Gray the dog on the video call. Honestly, I'd forgotten that dog even existed. She's there spinning the poor dog around saying that everyone saw his big win, and now all the girls at school are asking for Zuyi's number. Girl, what school? You were passed out until 5 minutes ago. What friends, you lunatic? Still, she says she's not giving his number to anyone. If someone wants to date Zhao Yi, they have to be extremely strong. And look at that rascal Zhao Yi, already imagining Zhong all buff and ripped. Says he's gonna get straight to the point and starts explaining about the Zhao family offer. He tells her they could get any book she wants. Ice Archer, Ice Swordswoman, Ice Mage, you name it. This is an inclusive story, folks. Even if you've got Alzheimer's, the author will remind you. Because, yes, it was already crystal clear that she was gonna choose ice, and, yep, she picks ice. So our boy explains that if she accepts the Zhao family's offer, she'll have to study with them for 3 years. Like, what, bro? But she's super excited, not even fazed by anything, saying not to worry. She's not gonna hold him back or mess up his life. He just says, all right then, and offers to take her to the district himself. And with that, we're back to the competition, round 4. From now on, there would start to be rewards, and the first prize was an S-rank mana potion. The audience is in awe at how generous that is. Jian points out that last year, the final prize was that potion. So it looks like this year will be way better. Xiaoyi reminds her that's because monster invasions are increasing. They are deliberately giving out more and more items to encourage people to fight. Then the announcer bot says that anyone who makes it in the semifinals will win a weapon forged by the Master of the Alliance, P. June. Joey knows what's up. Legendary rank items are the maximum a human can forge. Anything higher than that, only left behind by the gods. Obviously, this just makes all the players more greedy than ever. Jian waves goodbye to our boy, saying she's rooting for him. Back in the arena, a green-haired guy approaches. He puts on a hat and says he knows just how strong Zhou Yai is, but he's not weak either. Oh, buddy. That's the exact phrase the weakest guy ever would say. Apparently, since level 1, this lunatic has dumped all his stat points into strength. He likes to fight by landing one big hit and winning. But as soon as the match starts, Ju Yi charges in with his hammer. The guy, sticking to his signature strategy, stomps the ground and lunges in close. He unleashes a vicious flurry of slashes. I thought Zhao Yi would dodge. But no, they are actually going head to head. The hammer and sword clash. But unfortunately, my guy, you're not the protagonist. You go flying. The poor dude's lying there wondering how this is possible. He's dumped everything into strength. How does someone at a similar level hit harder than him? Well, buddy, your plan wasn't that bad. It's just he's the main character. There's really nothing you can do. But the crowd's getting suspicious, saying something's off of Zhu Yi. It should be impossible for Brother Shan to lose in a pure strength match. That blonde kid with glasses says that to beat him like that, Zhu Yi would need to have at least 450 points in strength. And combining that with the intelligence he clearly needed to do that cyclone earlier, something's not right. He asked the guy next to him if he thinks he has a chance of beating Zhu Yi. And bro, this poor dude says that out of 10 fights, he'd win 3. Considering he already admitted defeat, it's more like out of 10,000 fights, he win -3. Green hair gets back up saying no, he hasn't lost yet. As long as he's standing, he's not defeated. Zhao Yi praises him saying he's truly a real man. And in that moment, the guy charges with a flying air punch. But our boy's not holding back. The dude comes in with a punch and takes a full-on hammer shot to the chest. It's flattened into the arena. His teammates are shouting at the system to declare the match over. And since the guy got turned into a pancake, the machine finally announces Zhao Yi as the winner. In the stands, the girls are yelling they love Zhao Yi, while the medics are just feeling sorry for anyone who has to fight this holy night. One day later, the head of Kang Academy says that 2 students have made it into the quarterfinals. He tells Song Xiaolan, one of the girls who advanced, that is impressed she made it this far. He adds that he thinks her chances of continuing are extremely low, but she should give it her best shot. Damn, man. Was that roast really necessary? Looks like our dear succubus ended up facing some guy named Waihe and lost. Apparently, this dude is being considered a future champion. Well, maybe that's for the best, right? Our boy didn't have to fight her, and now he gets to beat the guy who beat her. Win-win. Still, the team leader says they've got a shot at coming back through the losers bracket. 2 slots will be available. While they wait, they are counting on Zhu Yi to bring home first place in the solo competition. Of course, the guy says, yeah, I've got that covered. Tomorrow, there would be 2 group matches, but against normal schools, so nothing to worry about. Apparently, the substitutes are going to handle those normal schools. You know those weirdos over there, or maybe I read that wrong, but it sure looks like that's the plan. Back on the couch, Jiang is anxious, hoping to climb back up in the losers bracket. This was her chance to get back into the competition and win an S-rank equipment. Even for super influential families, gear of that quality is hard to come by. At that moment, the team leader tells our boy that now that his strength has been exposed, he should lay low and avoid training too much. Otherwise, he might become a target. Right then, the couple girls walk past the door and freeze stunned, saying they are seeing a literal god. Man, and not just 2 anymore, a whole crowd starts forming. They can't believe they're actually seeing him in the flesh. Our boy, though awkward as ever, is facing the one enemy he truly doesn't know how to beat and just asks, "Who are you?" The girls blush, stepping closer, saying they are fans and want autographs. They are holding multiple posters of him in different poses, telling him he's going to have to sign all of them. But he's completely lost, has no idea where they even got those pictures from. Jiang, meanwhile, is on the couch looking crushed, the expression of someone who's just witnessed her man being stolen right in front of her eyes. And then, bam, the devil version of herself whispers in her ear, "You gotta let them snatch Zhu Yi from you like that." If she couldn't keep up with him, she would be left behind. Zhong's talking to herself, saying she'll win this next match no matter what. Though, honestly, I don't think that demon voice was talking about this kind of competition girl. But that's Zhong's goal, Faye. She's gonna fight to stay at his side. The spicy succubus is just watching silently while Zhao Yi starts getting the chills. The second part of round 4 is about to begin. Everyone is teleported into the middle of a forest, wondering why it has to be so different every year. Last time, it was a castle. The time before that, I controlled robots. One mage mutters that this whole random setting system is what makes everything so unpredictable. Meanwhile, Zhong already has her hand on her sword. Anyone who moves is getting sliced. The little robot hovers over and tells everyone to calm down. This was the Lost Forest. Every half hour, monsters would spawn around the area. Their objective, kill as many monsters as possible. The 2 people with the highest kill count will advance to round 5 of the solo tournament. Everyone's smiling, but John notes that deep down, they are all tense. Suddenly, a purple mist appears, signaling the first monster wave. Everyone gets ready, but weirdly, nothing shows up. Then behind John, a guy starts scratching his neck. She feels something strange and looks back, and holy hell, the dude's entire body is sprouting mushroom spores and is coming toward her with a massive distorted hand. But suddenly, he vanishes. A voice echoes from the forest, contaminated, exiled. The problem? No one even saw those monsters approach. And now one by one, everyone around her is getting forcefully logged out. She calms herself trying to figure out what's going on. Then plopped, something lands right on her shoulder. Obviously, it's one of those freaky mushrooms. She immediately activates her succubus fire blood to burn it away. The girl's already starting to transform. That's when you know things are getting serious. But then, out to nowhere, she starts shouting at everyone to surround themselves with energy and eliminate the creatures before they get contaminated. Did she forget this is a competition? Thank God everyone's so dumb that even with all that, they were still dying left and right. At least a few mags had some sense and started setting themselves on fire to stay safe. Poor Jong, she's got demon lineage but acts like an angel. Meanwhile, our boy, who's got angel blood, acts like a total demon. But Jong quickly realizes the mushroom spore things weren't giving any points, so she had to find the real creatures. Deep in the trees, she detects a few big-headed freaks. She immediately activates her bloodline, dashes in, and slices the first one. Even though the monsters had some OP ability, they were kind of weak overall. So, she charges toward a few more, and slash, down they go. Meanwhile, back in the arena, a match is going down between a university team and the Sukang substitutes. Everyone's diving in, throwing magic, launching torpedoes, spitting fire. Mechs jumping in, slashing here, punching there. Then suddenly, bam, a volley of arrows heads straight for one of them. But that golden shield appears out to nowhere. Yep, our boy from the main team had to step in and save the goofballs. And, of course, he takes the moment to scold the priestess in the back, telling her she's not providing the protection they need. The poor girl's all flustered, apologizing. On the other team, the red-haired girl and the samurai dudes are pissed. They are like, what's this clown doing? Acting like it's a training session instead of a real match. They all charge at once, but Zuyi's team suddenly notices. He's just there, chilling, messing with his phone. Turns out he just got a pic from his waifu saying she passed. Damn girl, proud of you. Obviously, that only makes the enemy even more mad. But 2 seconds later, they are all on the ground. That part of the competition wraps up. The next day, it's finally Juyi versus Yahe. Oh, snap. Look at that reporter, bro. His little cap says KK. One more K and we're gonna need historical reparations. He's all excited narrating the story of our boy who rose from poverty to become the Holy Knight and now faces Yahe, who has countless special bloodlines and comes from one of the most powerful families. He wakes at the camera and says everyone must be dying to know who'll take the throne of kings. This fight's getting streamed worldwide. Back in the arena, someone's arriving by helicopter. Who is it? Of course, it's our boy and the team leader. As usual, flanked by his harem. I mean, what can I say? It's a harem. What are you gonna tell me as a tactical team? They do nothing but stand there like, oh my god, Juyi, you're amazing. On the other side, the team from Manhwa University arrives. Front and center, some blonde dude in a jacket straight out of One Piece. He throws it over his shoulder and slides his arms through the sleeves. Listen up, people. That only looks cool in anime or manhwa. Try that in real life and people will think you're mentally unstable. He walks over to greet the Sukang leader, saying he's excited for a friendly competition. The headmaster says sure, welcome, while thinking how hilarious that this chump actually thinks he's gonna beat Juyi. Our boy's humility has become contagious in the school. Juyi gives the guy a long stare. Yep, that's definitely Yahe, the one who smacked our beloved succubus. Oh boy, you laid a hand on her and we didn't even get to see her transformation. Double punishment incoming. Zhao Yu's already smiling like a psychopath. No mercy for this one, folks. The names start getting announced and the crowd is going wild. Over at home, blue-haired dad is watching it all go down on his 130-inch TV. Next to him is one of the Shao family elders. They tried to make him look old, but if you really look, there's not a single wrinkle on that man's face. Take off the beard and ditch the cane, and he looks exactly like the guy beside him, if not younger. He's clearly worried about you, has chances of winning, but Yoheng tells him not to stress. He's analyzed all of the kids' matches. There's no one in this world at his age who could beat him. Why he might be a genius, sure. But Zuyi is someone standing in the shadow of the ancient ancestors. Back in the arena, someone rushes toward our boy. He's already popped 7 buffs. It's poor Yahe, who smacks right into the shield's barrier. The two lock eyes for a second, then Juyi swings the cleaving hammer. Yahe dodges, rolls on the ground, and activates Berserker mode. His sword bursts into flames and he unleashes a series of slashes toward Juyi. But our guy's dodging with ease. Now that he knows the guy's at Berserker, the strategy changes. All Juyi has to do is stall for time. Once the buff runs out, the guy's gonna be drained. The moment Yahe realizes Juyi is trying to stall, he charges in, shouting that he won't let that happen. Our protagonist grins, as expected of someone with talent. He wasn't going to fall for a basic trick like that. Why, he launches a light-infused slash with his flaming sword. This was a level 9 technique he'd been practicing for years. And here comes our boy, bam, hammer time. I've never seen this hammer lose to a sword. The guy's pouring everything into it and still can't understand why he's losing. Bro, look at your skinny sword, and now look at that hammer-sized truck slap you just took. He gets long, like always. But this time, Zu is not wasting time. He pulls out the sacred cross and begins the invocation. Why he, however, smirks. He already knew this move was coming. He activates another berserker skill, Battle Rage. And here comes Zu Yi's holy finisher. I wanna see how Yi plans to survive this. The blondie, not looking too healthy right now. Yi's trying to tank it all on sheer willpower. Oh ho. He forged a full-on armor mid-fight and actually survived. Credit rates due. That's impressive. The system explains to us that with Battle Rage, all incoming damage is reduced by 8%. The guy charges back in, and Zu Yi notices is trying to end this as fast as possible. Do have a you could just dodge for 2 minutes. Wait for the rage to wear off, then clean up. Easy win. But nah, he doesn't want to win in a boring way like that. He slams Yu with another hammer blow, while Yu's thinking he has to end this quickly. He's up against a holy knight, someone with heals, shields, and endless sustain. The longer it drags on, the worse it gets for him. That's why he's going all out from the start. In the crowd, everyone's already figured it out. This is gonna be a fast fight. Neither one of them is holding back. Yi throws another slash. Zu Yi sidesteps with that clean protagonist move. Then, Lance of Victory activated. It's coming down hard, but he doesn't give a damn. As the attack descends, he throws himself into it headfirst. Literally, a headbutt. This madman is grinning, saying the Lance of Victory is useless. But Yi, protagonist mode on, activates Storm of Light. Lightning starts pouring down across the entire arena, and now Yi is actually getting nervous. The chain of attacks isn't giving him a single chance to recover. He takes the gamble, rushes in anyway, even though the lightning's still raining down. Of course, he gets struck mid-charge. The light punishment skill is over level 20. Even with 80% damage reduction, he's feeling it. The announcer's screaming and the poor guy's getting bombarded. Meanwhile, Wang Zhuan, the mechanic kid, is just watching with a smile. Yeah, man. Now the lightning's starting to pierce through. Looking at Zu Yi right in front of him, he was devastated. In theory, he was no more than 10 meters away, but it felt impossible to even get close to that giant. Still, he refuses to accept it and activates one more secret technique. This time, Light of the City of 1,000 Shadows. A thick smoke starts spreading through the arena, and our boy's just standing there, confused, wondering where the heck that guy vanished to. Suddenly, he looks to the side, and there's a sword falling. Actually, not just one, a whole storm. It's raining swords. Zhao Yi recognizes the move. It's a technique from a legendary ancestor who could turn their entire body into a sword. Basically, every blade falling is Wagyu himself, a technique designed to instantly massacre massive groups. Zhao Yi finally says, all right then. Time to get serious. The swords begin pouring down from the heavens and Zu Yi stretches out his hand, muttering that the audience would be disappointed if he just repeated an old move. So instead, he combines abilities, activating the sacred flame, but with ice mana. Our boy starts stepping forward, freezing everything beneath him, forming a barrier that wraps around the whole arena. And as usual, it's the poor recording drones that suffer the most, glitching out as they try to film it all. Meanwhile, the viewers are all confused. Why is there ice magic happening now? The old man from earlier, who, reminder, barely looks 30 if he shaved, stands up. All that's missing is Barbie kicking away the cane. He asked out loud, can't they see that's pure, perfect ice magic right in front of them? All the swords Wei summoned, frozen midair. Once everything's turned into popsicles, Zu Yi just closes his hand, and they all shatter. Plus, there were golden strings attached to all of them. When Wei's real body finally reappears, it's already completely slashed up. The poor guy collapses to the ground unconscious, and the victory goes to our beast. The crowd erupts cheering that their senior is way too good. Zhou Yi even pauses for a little photo op, definitely fishing for more poster material. With that, the solo battles are over. Now only the team competition remains. While the teacher praises him, our beloved succubus is twirling her hair. You all know what that means. But the university headmaster, he's shook. He knows Zu Yi still has cards up his sleeve and hasn't even gone full power yet. He claps a big hand on Zu Yi's shoulder, saying he truly brings honor to Su Kang. That's when the girls reveal. Su Kang always wins the team competition, but never the individual one. So this is the first year they are taking everything home. Jiang hugs the mage girl, saying he could cosplay as an archmage now. Then she calls out to our boy with that mischievous little look, saying, tonight, we got relaxed, healed. Unfortunately, no matter how much malice you try to inject into that line, they all know what's gonna happen. They are just walking together through the streets arm in arm. That's the peak, the max, at least for now. Still, there are some random dudes worse off than our MC, just eating meat skewers, drooling over how hot that chick is. And then one bold fool decides to hit on the succubus, saying he can't pass up this chance. She's one of the most beautiful women he's ever seen. Good. She gives him one look. He gives up instantly, bro. The moment he realizes it's Miss Wei, he backs down like a toddler seeing the belt. They head over to a little stall to sit and chill. John runs into a shop and buys what looks like an agility potion. Oh, wait. Nan is a wine that increases agility. Of course. So our boy starts drinking with his waifu, who congratulates him for placing first. They clink glasses, take a sip. She says the flavor's amazing. 10 minutes later, she's slumped, all wobbly, completely drunk, asking why she's seen two of him. Zhao Yu realizes the city wine with agility buffs is way stronger than usual. He accepts to go find the rest of the crew so they can head out. But then, bam, an e-girl latches onto his arm. Man, she came in swinging with a mountain-crushing grip. Careful, Zuya, you're gonna end up with a fractured collarbone. And she's already saying her cup is empty. Will you mind buying her a drink? Our humble lad replies that he just bought a bottle, and if she wanted some, it cost her 10,000 yuan. She laughs saying he's funny and interesting. Maybe they could go somewhere a little more exciting to talk. That alone was enough to shake Jiang Defy. I don't know if she's about to go full combat mode or just give up entirely. She comes in with a double-handed approach, ready to eat the competitor off the battlefield. But the e-girl speaks up, saying, if you're not his girlfriend, maybe you don't get in the way of someone else's luck tonight. Oh boy. This wasn't random at all. She knew exactly who Zuyi was, and she knew exactly who Jiangsu was too. She had her charm aura activated. Dangerous. She knew this was the perfect timing, right before the two of them officially become a couple. And just as she's reaching out to touch our boy, Zhao Yi grabs Zhongshu's hand, pulling her close and says, if it's her, I don't mind her interrupting my romance. Then he turns and walks away, casually tossing over his shoulder. That girl had a kinda bland look anyway. Not worth the effort. Sorry, girl. You might have had all the charisma, confidence, and main character swag. But when you're going up against a succubus with an evolution, it's game over, sweetheart. Better luck next arc. As the two of them walk off, Zhong stops him and says, wait.